It's me and it's Ira on camera. Corey's in studio, no camera.
Doesn't matter.
Had enough time. We can hear from you, and during the commercial break, we'll get the camera worked out. But you're all set. We're all set, and away we go. And for that, we say, thanks for joining us, and yay, sausage. Register sausage.
You threw me off there with the thanks for joining us and the yay sausage.
You weren't ready.
Actually got some exciting news from the sausage contingent.
Oh, here we go.
Sounds like
that'd be a good name for a band, by the way.
Sausage contingent. Along with the expansion to Jacksonville and the Jacksonville warehouse for Publix.
Yeah, domination.
That has led to just brand new horizons for the Registers brand. Now, Registers is available. I mean, it's become throughout the Southeast now.
Yeah.
Guys, you can get Register sausage now in Hilton Head, South Carolina, Savannah, Georgia.
Okay.
And then expanded further west, Destin, Fort Walton Beach, Pensacola, Mobile, Alabama.
This is a sausage dynasty.
Remember,
oh my goodness.
Forget the Chiefs.
Yeah.
It's the soon Taylor's going to be hanging out with Ben.
And Stephanie would like to go ahead and put in a request. She would love some Register sausage at the wedding on March 2nd. So if Ben can make that happen.
You guys can't buy it? You guys, it's got to be.
You just want free stuff?
She wants, like to clarify, Stephanie wants free sausage at the wedding.
Correct. Yeah, correct. Actually, no, she doesn't. She was saying we would buy it.
Oh, okay.
But I'm like, you know what? No. I want complimentary sausage. I think I've done enough.
We've done enough for Register sausage.
Throw us a couple.
It's becoming a global
Throw us a couple of links, Ben.
I might, maybe this is kind of conversation we have off air, but not us. We're going to do it on air. Did you invite Ben to the wedding?
No.
But he can bring his sausage.
And
just
then
drop
he needs
it
to
off.
Bounce.
Drop it off at the front porch.
And then bounce.
Take your ass down the road.
We'll let you know how it goes.
Yeah.
Obviously, if anybody brings food to the wedding, they get to stay.
Anybody.
Yeah. They get to stay. Anybody.
But, Register sausage is expanding. And but that doesn't mean if you live in these areas where they've already been, you can't go get your Register sausage.
Correct.
Or if you're out beyond those areas, those regions, you can go to registermeats.com and have it delivered. Corey, you could do that. It would be delivered in time for the wedding if you went to registermeats.com.
The promo code Clark Wedding.
Maybe Ben can set up a promo code for you.
I can't believe how quickly it's arriving. The wedding
gay.
will be here.
It's bearing down on us, buddy.
Here it comes. Here we go. Well, anyhow, we know the sausage will be good if Ben's able to deliver the free sausage or not. If you get it, whether you pay for it or it's free, it's delicious.
It's either way. It's worth the money either way.
Yeah, it's outstanding. And so we say, again, thank you to Register Sausage. Hey, basketball tonight. We want to get it out of the way right now?
No.
We can.
No.
Let's get it out.
Big showdown with the Hokies?
We can't start a show with basketball.
Well, we can.
And Corey not on camera and basketball.
I figured that'd be the time to do it.
The viewership is going to go to -0.
No, I think we'll be all right. I mean, we do have to make mention of it. It is a game tonight. We don't have to spend a lot of time on it. Kind of a must win, right?
No.
Yeah, sure.
Must win in what regard?
I mean, they got to win all of them to get into the tournament.
I mean,
pretty much. I hold out to hope. You guys gave up a long time ago, apparently. Goodness gracious. I mean, the calendar switched to January. They're 7-4 during that time. They've hung in there. They've been competitive. They're not good, but you get hot. You get a miracle win over Duke.
Get hot and win 8 straight to end the regular season.
He's
right. He's right. It's a must win.
21-10.
No, they're in. They win 8 straight, including Duke.
Yeah, they're in, buddy.
All right. Well, maybe. I think it'd be close. I think it'd be one of those. Hey, how's it going to go?
I think they're in.
9-1 in the last 10.
Lenardi's going to be taught. Yeah, but let's be realistic. They're not going to win 8 in a row.
So we know the dates of the time that we get to invade Charlotte with the Black Hats for the ACC kickoff. That was announced, and the win totals are out according to FanDuel. Florida State at 9.5, Clemson at 9.5, Miami at 9.5. So if you're looking at win totals, there you go. You got 3 teams in the conference at 9.5. By the way, it could be a banner year for the ACC right as all of the teams I just mentioned leave. Leave the conference. Be great. Almost like the Pac-12 had this year.
This could be maybe it could be our last trip up to ACC kickoff. It would be we may pour one out while we're up there.
We've had a good time up in Charlotte.
We have through the years at all the different ACC kickoffs. We should do like just a show where we reflect on all of our favorite.
I don't want to jinx it because if we do something like that, saying this is our last chance in Charlotte, then we'll find out it's going to be another decade.
Another 10 years.
I don't want to jinx it by doing one last hurrah.
They've expanded it to 4 days, everybody. You guys don't care about that because you're not going up to Charlotte for the ACC kickoff. We're not going to stay for 4 days either, if truth be told. But they just keep making it longer and longer, and none of us can figure out why.
Well, Florida State's going to go on the first day.
And that's all we needed to hear, baby. We were like, woohoo!
The big expansion, the big additions of
SMU,
Cal,
and all the media from SMU, Cal, and Stanford. Back in the day, Rick Jones used to work with us at the Osceola. He started a rival site covering Stanford back when Andrew Luck was playing.
Good
Jim
time
Harbaugh
to
was
do
the coach.
it. Really good time.
He did. He enjoyed it, and he said he was like the only media person ever covering their football practices.
Wow.
Like once a week, maybe somebody.
And Harbaugh was the coach, right?
Yeah,
That's crazy.
Once a week, like somebody from the San Francisco Examiner would come over, but that was about it. Like he was their media press corps. So yeah, I don't know that there's going to be a ton of Stanford media coming over here for ACC kickoff, but they did expand it to 4 days. I think the first day is going to be Florida State's going to speak, and then the rest of it, they're all just going to trash Florida State.
Sure.
The last 3 days.
We don't have to be there for that.
Oh, honestly, I kind of thought that's exactly what was going to happen. And did we need to hold it down? Like, check people.
Just stay behind.
You know how you've been in a room where it gets uncomfortable. Either it's happened to you, or you've been in the room when it happened to somebody else, and you thought, "Oh, how's this going to go?" Somebody is besmirching another's reputation, saying something slanderous about them, and everybody's in the room, and then that person walks in, and like, "Oh, Ted." We didn't know you were here. How are you, buddy? And it's uncomfortable. Like, we could be those guys. Like, come around the corner. You were saying about Florida State.
Not really, because none of the other media contingents will be there. Because they're not going to be there that day. The Clemson people aren't going to be there. And Clemson people shouldn't be upset with Florida State.
No, they should
be on board with Florida State, but that's a whole nother
When we walk in, they ought to say, "Oh, Captain, my captain."
I don't think y'all read it, but Yahoo, Ross Dellinger just came out with an article. He dropped it like 30 minutes ago about maybe huge changes coming to the college football playoff landscape and the NCAA tournament, which it seems apparently him talking to all the commissioners, it's inevitable that they're going to expand the NCAA tournament. They might make it 128.
Sweet.
But they're gonna expand it.
Ham's been calling for that for like 6 years.
And honestly, people get upset about it, and I get it because it's not as special and unique as it was.
Yeah,
but
anybody makes it.
It's one extra day. Instead of playing a 16 seed, you're playing a 24 seed. The number 1 seeds, I mean. But Florida State would have a chance if it was 128 teams to get in. But what was funny is he talks to Phillips, the ACC commissioner, about the SEC Big Ten think tank deal they're doing. And he goes, "Look, man, I've talked to those guys. I don't think there's anything nefarious going on there. I don't think
there's no way.
I don't
Jim
think
Phillips
it's sinister.
said that.
No, he said sinister. He goes, I don't think it's sinister. I think they just wanted to keep the group small. But they're looking out.
There's no way.
I promise you, I'll find the quote during the break.
We couldn't invite 1 or 2 more commissioners.
Yeah,
we
even
just had to keep it at the
whoever the Big East commissioner is, or the AAC, he's like, he goes, typically when they do those kind of things, they invite all the major conferences. It was a little weird that the SEC and Big Ten just did it themselves.
Yeah,
and then the Phillips comes right after that and goes, I don't see anything.
Jim,
hey man, hey,
you just had your lunch money stolen.
Yeah.
Spat upon your face, and you looked like a fool as you're begging for the CW rep in the audience who's not there, and then
he's trying to play nice. He's trying to play nice. Nothing sinister.
Why?
Nothing sinister about the SEC and Big Ten combining forces.
But no. It's already happened. He already got played once before.
Maybe it's like in politics when they run for office against each other, and then at some point they decide to just start angling for a job in the cabinet.
So like the guy can call your wife fat and ugly, and then later on you're like, it's okay.
And maybe Phillips is just trying to get a job in the SEC. Like or the back of the Big Ten.
That's probably exactly what it is. Yeah, he wants the landing spot. He wants to be the VP.
It looks an awful lot like groveling, and it's embarrassing.
well, the gated community thing wasn't groveling?
It was. And when you came on that day from Charlotte, and I was on the air, and I was appalled by that limp-wristed sort of approach to just, we need to have our trash taken out too, and everybody has to feel good about the game. Like, what are you talking about? They are strong-arming you into irrelevance.
Starting to think the leadership's not real strong in the ACC.
I mean, kind of hasn't been for a while, maybe.
Jim, you can't. I love the idea of Ross Dellinger calling Jim Phillips or speaking across from Jim Phillips and say, "Well, your thoughts on this?" I don't think there's nothing there, Ross. They got the good of the game in mind. I'm sure it's going to be fine. Just like the, what was the Alliance? That was what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah. Come on, man. Don't be like that. Don't bring up old stuff. Quit bringing up old stuff. We're trying to move ahead. We're trying to look ahead.
Well,
to the future
it doesn't
of
really matter.
Football.
I mean, for Jim's sake, I just hate it for, a grown man to be embarrassed like this, but then to just kind of go along with it is odd to me. It doesn't really matter. It's going to happen either way. There's nothing he can do about it. I mean, it's going to happen.
That's a good point.
It's already happened.
He's just like, you know what?
Like,
I could either whine and complain or act like I'm good.
Yeah.
We're good. We're comfortable. We're comfortable with the ACC's position.
Here's his direct quote, because he says that they've been working all together, all the major conferences. And then, of course, Mike Oresco, who's the AAC commissioner, who I think is the Big East.
He loves whining.
Yeah, he goes, I was a little surprised that the ACC and Big 12 weren't included. That's typically been the MO. And then 2 paragraphs down, Phillips says, I trust Greg and Tony, the 2 commissioners. I trust Greg and Tony and what they've said. I'm not paranoid about this, that it's a sinister movement. So he's not paranoid, which is good. He's trusting them at their word, because if college athletics, modern college athletics has taught us anything, people are true to their word. Word is bond. A handshake is as strong as oak. Man, you don't question people's motives.
Jim's the guy that walked in on Greg sleeping with his wife, and then later on was like, I like Greg. I mean,
Greg's
there was
an
indiscretion there. I don't, I've forgiven it. We're moving on. It's okay. Jim.
Hey, man, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
That's a toughie.
By the way,
that's a toughie.
So it's kind of a loosey-goosey first segment. Since I'm not on camera, what's the point? Nobody's watching anyway. What did you got to take the ball. You got to take the ball second in overtime, right? With those crazy rules in Super Bowl.
If you know the rules.
I get, though, because if both teams score the same amount of points, San Francisco gets the ball next.
Yes,
and then they score, they win.
And they can win the game. And that's actually the reason that he gave.
But as the Chiefs said,
they were going to go for 2.
They were going to go for 2, and of course they would. They have Patrick Mahomes. You have one play to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Are you really kicking a 34-yard extra point, or are you going to let your all-world quarterback?
It's because it's exactly the thing that so many college coaches screw up with the double overtime.
They don't go for
where
2
they don't go for
should.
2, and they let the other team. It's just like, well, you need to go for that now.
At the end of the day, it didn't matter. It really didn't matter either way.
No, I don't think the Chiefs had a 4th down they would have punted on, but went for. Yeah, it didn't. But it
didn't matter.
And also I think maybe don't kick the field goal.
Well, that's
your 4th and 3 at the 9.
That's the better discussion. Well, what sucks for them is
because even if you don't get
4 from the 9, if they get a first down, they're going to go in and score. It's just like at the end of the game, the 3rd and 5. If you convert that, you run out the clock, kick a field goal, and the game's over. You just won the Super Bowl. They couldn't make a singular play that they had to make late. That's
and I had the over. I had the Chiefs in the over, so that helped. Just the Chiefs over was like 23.
I was going to say because you didn't win.
23.5 was the Chiefs' final score, and I had the over, so that was awesome. That was a really pivotal moment.
There were a lot of people really grateful that the extra point did not need to be kicked.
Oh,
and
yes,
some
correct.
very frustrated that it was
that should be
kicked.
One of the bad beats, but like a good beat. Like a great win. I was watching it last night. Scott Van Pelt's bad beats thing he does on SportsCenter. They're also miracle wins. They're great gambling wins too for the other side.
Yeah, that's my argument is that people that get the wins never talk about that. Just talk about the bad beats.
Yeah, no,
it goes both ways.
Yeah, it definitely does. And I would just say this: if you can't complain about any of that because the game went to overtime. Like you're not expecting the Super Bowl to go to overtime.
You didn't handicap it.
Yeah, you didn't. So there's no way. I had the under all the way, and I was sitting there laughing, going, "Oh, I'm going to get screwed out of this under because we're going to go a full 5 quarters, are we?"
Another one. So I had a buddy that was at a party, and they were doing the squares, and the squares said 4th quarter. So there were 4 payouts.
Oh, wow!
1st quarter, 2nd quarter, 3rd quarter, 4th quarter.
And did he hit on the total for the 5th quarter?
Yeah. Well, no, but the guy that won the 4th quarter was like, "No, we're just doing the quarters. We don't do the final score. It doesn't say final score. It says 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th." So they gave the payout after at 9-9, at 19-19 was the payout. They didn't even include overtime in the payout because you know what I'm saying? It didn't say final score. It just said the end of the 4th quarter.
Wow.
So that's not how you do it, right? Wouldn't you make it? You got to do 1st, 2nd, 3rd, and then final score.
Yeah, you definitely got to.
That's our first overtime gang in the Super Bowl since the Falcons and the Patriots. I don't know if y'all remember how that one went.
What percentage of our audience has no idea what you were just talking about?
About Super Bowl squares? Yeah. I would say 10%.
Yeah. I would also say that
if you're listening to this show and you've never been to you don't know what a Super Bowl square is?
Same guy, by the way. Shanahan is
on
the wrong end on a few of those. And in all 3 of the Super Bowls, he had more than a 10-point lead or more.
Yeah.
Whether it be OC or head coach, he's had a rough go in those second half of Super Bowls, buddy.
I would say one was more egregious than the other 2. I think the 25-point lead late in the 3rd quarter is a little more egregious.
You might. We'll take a break, come back, talk some Florida State football in a moment. 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV continues in a moment.
And I'm Jimmy Basic of Basic Brooks Law Offices.
Traffic cameras are everywhere these days.
And Basic Brooks is partnered with RoadProof to get access to all their vast network of cameras.
This is a valuable tool to help us search for evidence that could help you if you were involved in an accident.
If you've been hurt in an accident, call Basic Brooks and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Call Basic Brooks and we'll do everything we can to help you come back stronger.
Call us now at 850-777-7777.
This is Jamie McClenny with Trek Financial in Tallahassee. Despite the highest global interest rates in almost 2 decades, inverted yield curves, conflicts in the Middle East, and 3 of the largest bank failures in U.S. history, equities and bond markets have posted stellar returns for 2023. The Dow Jones, the NASDAQ 100, and the Russell 2000 all reached new highs as markets rallied on the expectations of Fed pauses, Fed easing, and Fed bank bailouts. Markets are going to do what markets are going to do, but a clearly defined risk management protocol can help to mitigate large drawdowns in your retirement nest egg. If you're concerned where all this might be headed, call me at 850-900-5200 and let's talk about ways to mitigate the risk in your portfolio.
Make Jamie your first call for that second opinion. Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC registered investment advisor.
Widden Glass has been taking care of business since 1945. When you call Widden Glass, you're dealing with experienced, reliable professionals who offer only the best. Like Widden's top-of-the-line bath enclosures that provide style and luxury at an affordable price. Eye-catching storefronts are a specialty at Widden Glass. We'll help you design it and install it. Widden Glass, the first name in glass replacement. Call 222-5781.
There's nothing like relaxing in a hot tub after a long day. But if you don't have one, you're truly missing out. Hot tubs and spas have tremendous health benefits, besides just helping you relax. Like improving your sleep, they help with pain relief. They help to better your cardiovascular health, and so much more. And this season is the perfect season to finally buy what you've been wishing for. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patio, and Spas has the hot tubs you need for the price you want. Come shop our huge 12,000 square foot showroom and save today. There's over 50 hot tubs in stock right now, so you won't have to wait weeks on end for that delivery to finally come to town. If you're ready to relax, we're here to show you how. Pinch a Penny Pool, Patios, and Spas. Come visit our huge showroom at 2473 Greer Road with over 50 hot tubs to choose from. You'll be glad you did.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take-home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus, happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat-screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
There it is, Corey. There you are, buddy. We're moving things around. The squares are all there. You got to be happy. He's back in the loop.
Watch the viewership just skyrocket now.
We have a question that is in the chat about whether or not we're going to be in Chicago for the Notre Dame game. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, absolutely. We'll go to Chicago.
Ira and I, for sure.
I went last time. I'll go every time.
You're going to Chicago?
Of course.
All right. You driving with me?
I'm not driving. No, I'll fly like a normal human being. Okay. And I will get there and expedite the process of the travel and spend more time in Chicago than you, buddy.
Yeah, you will. I know. That's the bummer of driving everywhere. I was just in Chicago last summer, though, so I got my taste of the city. It's a great city.
It is.
It's a place I would live if not for the weather. The weather seems to just be ridiculous for about 3.5 months.
Cold, yeah.
Thanks, Hayden, by the way. Appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Hayden.
To appreciate that, Hayden. And we'll have a good time. Then you drive into that dump of a town that is South Bend. Hopefully hammer Notre Dame and make your way on out with a W. I love the schedule next year.
Get closer and closer to that playoff. It is a cool schedule when you've got Dublin, you've got Dallas, you've got Chicago, you've got Miami. I mean, it's
an awesome schedule.
Cool places to go.
I do wonder how we're going to navigate the stadium, man. That is going to be fun. Not for fans. That's going to be a toughie. As far as construction, as we've all watched, I wonder how do we know how far along it will be for the opening game, for the first home game?
I mean, it's
what do they look to have in place, Ira?
It's still gonna be in process, but they're supposed to have like 7,000 temporary seats on the west side. So the east side and the end zones, the east side is definitely gonna be normal.
Which one is the east side?
The other side, opposite the press box.
Okay, got it. Okay, got it.
The side underneath the press box is, man, it's a disaster. But they're gonna have like 7,000 temporary seats on that side.
So what's total attendance?
They're saying 50s, low to mid 50s.
Hey, sometimes those can be a little more raucous. Does that include
right up on the sidelines? Ira and I have been at Aviva Stadium, and if they wanted to, they could have the stands like right on the side. Yeah, they're right there. You should do that over at Doak for these games, man. Try to because Clemson's coming to town. We can't have 30,000 people out here rocking.
So's Florida.
Let's go.
50-something thousand people's. It's, the thing is, it's like people, you get into this competition over like what crowd sizes, but we've been in stadiums with 60,000. They're plenty loud.
Sure.
I've been Wake holds like 7,000 and it's
out of control.
Raucous.
It is
raucous beyond reason.
Good point. Especially on that hill. It's nuts.
The toughest ticket's probably going to be that SMU game because that stadium's so small and so many FSU
38,000, is that right?
Around 40,
Yeah.
I think they were going to have a temporary stands there too.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
And so many FSU fans want to go on that trip.
I want to go on that trip.
That's going to be a tough ticket.
This is the year of Jeff Cameron going on the road.
I can't wait, man.
It's going to be
a road
every
warrior.
week, man. It's going to be nuts. We got Chicago, we got Dallas, all places I want to go. I've gone to the Florida State Miami game several times down there.
Charlotte, you go back to Charlotte. If
I'll
they
be
get
there
to Charlotte.
for the ACC kickoff. I don't know. If they make the ACC
That's what I mean.
game, of course I'll be back.
You need to have your sales manager sell a sponsorship to the Cameron Tour.
Let's go.
Cameron 2024.
I'll go to bus.
I'll go to virtually every away game if
That's
we need
what we
to.
should. You could get on a bus with Ira and I and Jeff.
Wait, I don't like where you're going.
Okay, I was selling
He's the man of the people. He's the man of the people.
So we get a sponsor to sponsor our road trip.
Yeah, for the three of us.
But we film it and we monetize it that way. And you're on the bus with us. It's like Big Brother. We'll just have a camera on the bus the whole time. You can watch what we do.
Corey's forever inviting just random strangers to be a part of what we're trying to do. No.
All right, that's my fault. That's just how I live life, man. I live life that way.
Yeah, no, we're good. How about the three of us in one of those kick-ass Mercedes vans?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, this is where. Come on, come
Aslan
with me. Come with me. Yeah.
Aslan driving.
Like
our driver.
We're in the back. Yeah.
He's road raging, flipping people off on the highway.
That's a good point. Aslan's not the driver.
I feel like Ben would drive.
Yeah, that's not a bad.
He's the newest on the team. He doesn't have much of a say.
And I would take that back. I don't know that he flips people off, but he will mean mug the hell out of somebody if they're going too slow or too fast or whatever it is that he doesn't like on the road.
That's just in life, though. He doesn't have to be driving to mean mug someone.
Yeah. He'll pull up right next to him, and I'm like, people have guns.
Yeah. Everybody in this country does, apparently. Yeah, that's a toughie. All right, where do we want to go with football then? Other than
I wanted to bring up something. The combine list came out today.
Yes, it did.
By the way, Michigan has 18, which is nuts.
Funny that the team that won the national or the invitational,
you're right,
is loaded with talent.
But Florida State has 12. Yeah. The only one that I thought would be invited that was Akeem Dent. He's not invited, but Lovett, Fisk, Renardo, Jarian Jones, and all the other ones. Jordan Travis. Alabama has 10. What is that? If you're just going on combine lists and who got invited and who didn't, what would that tell you about the two teams? And Texas has 11. So again, theoretically kind of evenly matched, right? If you're just going on talent. And Georgia had 11, by the way.
Yeah. Georgia will have another 11 next year, another 11 year after that, and another 11 year after that. Yeah, I know. The point can be made that it's almost like Kirk Herbstreit wasn't aware.
Probably a strong point. Yeah. A strong point could be made that he wasn't aware, that it wasn't just a one-man team.
It wasn't a one-man team. But I care less about that since we've already had that discussion ad nauseum.
Corey's going to keep bringing it up.
Are you kidding? Of course I am.
I would just point out that of those, what'd you say? It was 10 or 12? 12. Do we think all 12 will get drafted?
So here's my thing, and somebody came at me on Twitter because I said on the Smash last week with Tom that I don't know about some of those guys. Like I don't know for sure some of those guys are going to get drafted. And somebody took exception to me because they were saying like Jarian Jones and Renardo Green are definitely going to get drafted.
Jarian is going to get drafted. They
should, but man, I don't. After like the first 2 rounds, to me, I have no idea. And maybe it's just I don't spend enough time paying attention to the draft. But there have been, it feels like every year there are guys that get drafted. I'm like, why would they get drafted? And then there are guys who don't get drafted. And I'm like, why did he not get drafted? So I have no idea. Man.
And then also, once you get to like the 7th round, a lot of the guys are kind of hoping they don't get drafted, because they'll get to pick where they go and they'll have a better chance and a better opportunity.
You know who wishes he hadn't gotten drafted? Brock Purdy. He's not eligible to do a new deal under the rookie contract because he was drafted. If he had been taken as an undrafted free agent, they could pay him.
Oh, yeah, but he might have signed with the Raiders instead of the 49ers.
But what I'm saying is he's making $800,000.
I mean,
and he could be making $20, $30, $40 million. And now listen, I'm not worried about his personal well-being. What I'm saying is dude goes out and shatters his arm next year.
Yeah.
Right. You know, the thing that bothered me about Romo more than anything during that game was he kept us talking about, and this is a guy that played quarterback and knows a lot more football than I will ever know, but he kept talking about it like it was a competition between Mahomes and Purdy. And like Purdy's like showing he's ready for this moment, and Mahomes is confused. And it's like, dude, have you seen San Francisco's pass rush? It's a little different than what Purdy's facing.
It ended up
in the first half, though. I mean, Kansas City's offense they had no time. San Francisco was all over them.
Yeah, it's kind of a fan thing to do.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
It's very much a fan.
You'd expect
thing
him more.
His
job to me is more to explain, and his job is to more explain, like, hey, this is the reason Mahomes is having a hard time.
Yeah.
But I mean, Purdy's sitting back there with all day.
I would also like him to maybe earlier before the final touchdown, been like, hey guys, if you're screaming at your TV, why isn't he calling a timeout?
Because they're going to play another quarter.
Because they get another. Because I didn't know that.
No, it wasn't until
he's saying it as the ball is snapped almost. So
they weren't racing against time.
Yeah, Romo isn't. Who's the guy that's really good? Olsen, right? Greg Olsen, I think. I like him more than Romo. Romo just talks too much.
Yeah,
he just talks too much.
There's a lot of
especially in key moments.
There are a lot of that. He kind of made his bones because he was so good in year one of telling you what the play was going to be.
Right.
And all ex-quarterbacks in particular that get that job seem to have that advantage over every other analyst right away because they were just in the league. Right. They know exactly the trends and everything else that's going to be called, and they do a good job of that. But anyhow, back to the Florida State guys.
Will Jordan Travis be drafted?
Well, that's where I was going to go. I don't know. He would have 100% been drafted had he not gotten hurt. So I'll say that first and foremost. Secondly,
and I want to say I think he's one of it looked like there are 13 or 14 quarterbacks invited. He's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
He will, I think, get drafted. The reason I think that is that they recognize that he's not going to be taken to play this year.
Right.
But you'd like to bring in a guy who you can trust is going to be a pro's pro and whose upside for where you're taking him, which is probably 6th or 7th round, it's pretty high.
Yeah.
Pretty high in the sense that you don't need him to be a starter anytime soon. If he goes to an offense where obviously they want to utilize another aspect of what he brings to the table, which is that elusiveness, then, you could have him sit in your system and learn it for a couple of years and not have to worry about playing him, but know he'd be a pro's pro.
And it helps that he's off the charts really in all of the non-tangible things,
right?
Just teammate, likable, all those types of things are really important. I remember back when Charlie Ward was finishing his NBA career and somebody said to me, because several of his years, he was a starter for a long time in the NBA, but then he wasn't.
Right.
And somebody who's very familiar with that league said to me, yeah, man, if you're going to be the 11th guy on the bench or 12th or whatever, the fact that you're such a good person and like reliable and dependable and do everything, that carries weight. And so that's going to, it doesn't separate him from somebody who might be better and healthier.
Sure.
But it can help. For sure.
Yeah, so if he gets drafted, then you've got a chance for all 12 of those guys to get picked.
Yeah, you wonder about Bethune, what his speed will be, if they will care about that. He's not really a fast linebacker anyway. He's at the combine. And then, Fabian, I think if he passes the health physical test,
he'll get drafted for sure.
That's the that's what I wonder, though. He's another guy. He ain't going to be a 1st or 2nd day pick. But he is a guy that I would absolutely draft in the 5th round because I think you're getting a guy that can play NFL level football for 25 snaps a game as a 5th or 6th rounder if he's healthy.
Just shows you, man. I mean, these guys get banged up, and it affects their money. It affects their trajectory, and you can understand why they're concerned about it as they go through their careers. They're this close to reaching their dream. A guy like Fabian, who gets hurt in the final play against LSU, it's crazy. You know, I mean, if he doesn't get hurt, that guy was going to be a top 3-round pick.
Probably, yeah.
And it altered his career. My assessment is that it radically altered his career. He ended up playing limited reps for Florida State the rest of his career. They never got the full impact of what he was going to be, what he was moving towards. And now you just wish for him to get it all back. Sometimes it takes 2 years for guys to come all the way back. Hell, it's been some guys when it comes to knees or ankles, it can be 3 years.
Yeah, and he was definitely, when he was in the games, he's very productive. But like Corey said, he's playing 30 snaps a game. He's not playing 60 snaps, and that's in college. So you wonder just, okay, as these teams look to invest, are they going to want to invest early round money into a guy who you don't know that he can stand up to the punishment?
But he's also a guy that can play at that level if he's healthy. And again, you don't know that of other 5th or 6th round picks. I don't think the first 2 days, I don't think he's on the table. Braden Fisk is, though. Braden Fisk will probably
he went the opposite direction because of what he did in the second half of the season, and certainly in the postseason. I mean, that ACC championship game, he was a menace.
Well, and he was a menace all week in Mobile, which is even a bigger deal to those guys.
Yeah, this is a fun group to root for. I've stated it before. I'll state it again here. A lot of guys whose stories we know really well, who meshed really well, who were part of a 13-0 season, who came together. Plus, we have, I think, some sympathy for their plight and that they got the snub. They got screwed out of the opportunity to play for a national title. You want to see guys like that fulfill their dreams. There's a lot of good ones. It's a good mix of players. And for, as a Florida State guy, it's just nice to sit down and watch a draft where it's going to be spaced out, but you're going to find a Florida State guy going in most of the day rounds. And so that's exciting. It's been a minute.
It's also, the combine's always been something I liked watching.
Yeah.
But the last, 6 years or whatever, it feels like you had to catch it right at the right second to see an FSU player even participating, because you only had like one or two guys there.
Jamie's about to run. About to run.
And it's like, if they don't go to a commercial, I could see a Florida State guy for one. Now it's going to be like, those guys are going to be in every group, several of them.
I get nervous for those guys. I can't imagine being poked, prodded, analyzed as thoroughly as they are. And this is your chance, right, to realize a dream. I mean, we've all had bad days. You could be good at something and have a bad day at it. So I'm sure you've been bad one day at some point your racquetball wizardry left you. And you had a hard day. Somebody who has no business beating Irish FL had a win. Right. It can happen, right? And I would sit and watch. I remember talking to Lonnie Pryor, and I was kind of a fanboy with Lonnie. I just loved his game, but I knew how important the combine would be for him because he was kind of a marginal prospect. And I was like, were you nervous? And he said, no, I was never really nervous. And that seems to be the answer with a lot of those guys, which I find remarkable. That's a cool sports psychology.
What I would like to do, honestly, if I was running the combine, is I would have 10 guys run the 40 at once as a race. Because I think you get more, get real true
prefer
speed.
It actually.
Absolutely, because they're not all eyes on you. And oh God, okay, I can go whenever I want. Let me.
Also, if you're running against somebody who you know is faster than you,
you're going to try to keep up. I'd say, a rising tide, all boats, that kind of thing. Yeah. So that's what and plus it would go quicker. And you could see the official times. You're like, okay, well, he won that heat. He finished third, but he probably ran, maybe 200ths of a second faster than he would have if he was running by himself.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I wouldn't mind that. Make it like a track meet.
I'd also like to see the Jameis quarterback drills be incorporated. So, everybody, you have to have the brooms, throwing things up, beach balls.
People hitting your gut while you're trying to throw.
People skating by in front of you.
like you're at the pier in Santa Monica.
Skating by is good. Yeah. Look at that. Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
A Tallahassee man accused of a deadly late-night shooting at a crowded gas station has been found not guilty at trial. Drayshawn Barber, 25, was acquitted of first-degree murder charges Friday evening and walked out of the Leon County Courthouse minutes later. The verdict came after 2 days of testimony and more than 2 hours of jury deliberations. Barber was accused of killing Credarius Johnson on July 25th of 2020 at the Marathon gas station on West Orange Avenue. With Valentine's Day around the corner, the IRS Criminal Investigation Office is reminding people to remain vigilant to avoid avoid being a victim of romance scams. Criminals use love to scam their way into their victims' hearts for monetary gain. Some tips to avoid falling victim to a scam are to never send money to anyone you have only communicated with online or by phone. Be careful what you post and make public online. Go slowly and ask lots of questions. Anyone who has fallen victim to a romance scam is asked to contact their local law enforcement. This is Rachel Aneo through Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at McLemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Trombley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with highs around 62. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 40 tonight, clear skies. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 67. Low 70s Thursday, upper 60s Friday. This report is brought to you by The Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 57 degrees.
Honey, can you go up in the attic and get a few things for me?
Sure, honey. Oh, this is going to be fun. Where's that light switch again? Whoa, can't stand there. I don't even want to know what that was. Why am I up here? There has got to be a better way.
Honey, are you okay?
There is. The Southeast Portable Buildings. Call them today. 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. No need to get up in that attic any longer when you can call Southeast Portable Buildings. They have sizes to help with the smallest space needs to the largest. Call them today. 850-580-6400. That's 850-580-6400. Or visit them online at southeastportablebuildings.com.
Still don't know what that thing was in the attic.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Of the 4 billion new players FSU has on the roster, it feels that way in a good way.
Yeah.
Who are you most excited about? Is it Roydale Williams?
Of the guys we've talked to, just like based on that or based on just physically?
Well, yeah, that's you're right. You can
Roydell's
separate
a likable guy,
Roydell,
gang. You should go watch that video.
Yeah,
we got him today. We talked to him today. We talked to DJ tomorrow.
Seems really impressive. Roydell is an impressive young man. I got well, they all have been. It's been been cool. This process has been fun to watch play out.
The defensive ends maybe, but I can't pick.
Mm-hmm.
Marvin, I'm excited to see Marvin. Excited to see the kid from West Virginia that I just can't remember his name.
When we were talking to Norvell in Orlando, I think they're calling him Tomey.
Oh, I can get behind that all day.
I think
Tomey.
You can do that one?
Well, he paying homage to the late Arizona football coach from the 80s. Dick Tomey?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah. I thought he was a big Jim Tomey fan. So there was
big Indians guy.
Yeah, I think they have a nickname for the other guy, Lolo Hea, too, but didn't pick that one up. But yeah, so they may have a solution for us.
We did talk. I don't know if you watched it. We talked to Cam Fryer, Matt Fryer's son, today. I thought that was an interesting interview. And what's cool about it, I would never say this to him. I'll just say it out loud to all of you folks. But because he is a legacy, and his dad was a player here on a national championship team.
Front cover of Sports Illustrated.
Right. So he was asked about that a lot, like dad's footsteps and the pressure of being a Fryer at Florida State. And I want to be like, I guess there's some pressure, but it ain't like you're a Winston at Florida State or a Ward at Florida State. Like Matt Fryer was a key player, but he's not on a Mount Rushmore anywhere where I don't think there's going to be a ton of expectations.
You wouldn't tell him that?
I would not tell him that,
okay.
but maybe I would.
Your dad really wasn't all that.
Yeah. Listen,
no.
Here's the thing. I'm sure you're proud of your father, but he was what he was.
Like, it's all right.
Like,
right? We can be honest here.
Ja'Kalen Brooks dealt with real pressure of a last name. I don't know that Cam Fryer is dealing with that same amount of pressure from a legacy. That's all. Because he talked about like he wanted to go in his own, when he first started the recruiting process, he wanted to make his own name for himself and go out and do. And he told some really good stories about Norvell. Like he said that this I thought was the most interesting when Matt was out of the room for the recruiting when he was on his visit, and he's like, "Man, I know your dad was a big deal here. He helped build this, but I don't recruit anyone just because who their dad is. That's how I lose a job." And so I don't recruit just because your dad was a big deal here. Doesn't mean I'm recruiting you because of your dad.
And honestly, if I had recruited your dad, it might have cost me my job because he wasn't.
Because he was a bum. As Corey's pointing out,
that is not what I was saying. He was a very good player, very pivotal player. Outran Marley to the end zone, hugged the cop.
Yes, he did.
He had some big plays, man. He had like 12 catches against Florida in the Warwick Dunn game down there. He had some great moments.
So Z-Chan has weighed in again, big time, and nope, fam. Corey, miss you, amigo. Jeff and I had a great smash last night. Can't wait for spring camp.
I think he probably meant to say Nole fam.
Yeah, I think so too.
I saw you went with nope.
No, I went with nope fan. I thought he was answering a question. Yeah. And when you give $100, I'll read it verbatim.
Read it verbatim,
that's what I do.
Z-Chan, you're the best, buddy. Yeah. Miss you too, man. How was the smash last night? Y'all crushed it?
We had a great time. The time flew past. It was so good. It took. I thought we had another 30 minutes to go, and I looked at the clock, and it was time for me to sign off for everybody. So there it was, yeah. It's a good time. So I can't wait for spring camp either, partly because of all the interviews that I've seen.
Man, and it is going to be there. It's going to be 40 new guys, right? Probably. When you talk, so probably 30. It's going to be the newcomers that are on campus already, and then the transfers. You're looking at around 30 players that are brand new to the program that we get to watch in the spring.
Well, that's what I said. That's why I jokingly said for the billion new players that we have.
I think it's 27 or 27. I think it's 27.
It's a lot.
Yeah.
Man, this is
plus the walk-on QB, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it's going to be a.
You're particularly excited about.
Well, no, but
I'm saying he was recruitable.
He was a recruitable kid.
I know
it's
he
like
was.
you've got real stuff to watch.
And he had a high profile. I mean, so he's not a nobody. I'm only teasing, but it was just funny that you added in the walk-on.
Yeah,
and that kid. Yeah.
And you got two quarterbacks that you're going to be watching closely. You got a whole defensive line you're going to be watching closely. The receivers. It'll be a really fun spring camp.
3 quarterbacks we're watching closely. Because, I mean...
we saw Brock Glenn. I mean, the two guys we haven't seen is what I meant.
Right.
Like the two new guys.
But we'll get to see more of him.
Yes, correct.
Because, last year he was hurt for half.
Yeah, to Ira's point, I want to see how he responds to all this. Yeah. I really do. After being thrown into the fire, then having a guy brought in to be a bridge quarterback in all likelihood in DJ, and then, Cromenhawk comes in as high profile as he is.
Yeah.
How Brock responds to that. I think he's got a whole bunch of what for to him. I mean, he's got real moxie to him. So I think this will be a fun thing to watch play out. He'll approach it as it's a real competition. Mike will tell everybody it's a real competition. I'm sure to some degree it's a real competition, but you didn't bring DJ in to be a backup. So it will be fascinating to watch that play out.
Yeah.
I think the receiver position is probably going to be the most interesting of all, just from a number standpoint, because you have, it is a wide open thing with a ton of different dudes who some of them we know have potential and some of them should have potential, but we haven't seen a lot of them.
And would it surprise you? Maybe not Cam Fryer, but Cam Fryer could be the guy. Faster than you think, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
What did he say? He called himself a home run threat or something today. And because that's
it's weird. He's got that speed, but he's also a coach on the field.
Great. He gets
both. He's got both.
And you don't see too many guys with that speed, coaches on the field as great route runners.
Right.
But he's also that. It's really remarkable.
You haven't seen one of them around here in like 30 years. Since his dad was here.
So you convinced yourself that his dad wasn't a bum.
His dad was very good. His dad was very good. He just wasn't Derek Brooks. But
that's the standard.
But one of these guys is one of these freshmen probably could work themselves in the rotation for sure. I mean, the beauty is there's nobody coming back that has a lockdown spot. Nobody. Portier, Williamson, Ja'Kai, they're all their places.
Ja'Kai's coming back?
All their spots are up for grabs.
My God.
He's been here forever, I know.
But
hey, man, good for him. He played hard in the Orange Bowl.
I'm not being mean. I'm just like,
he's been here for a minute.
Yeah.
So is Portier. But those guys don't have anything established either. So you have all these transfers and then 4 or 5 incoming freshmen that all want to get on the field and all probably are good enough to at least see some action.
I'm giddy. And in order to bridge the gap, we've got baseball. We've got the end of basketball. We've got we're going to get there. We're going to be there. I'm excited about baseball. Corey doesn't care.
He doesn't. He won't care until whether or not they go to Omaha.
I don't care until the supers.
Yeah.
That's
when he starts.
That's the only time I pay attention.
You're going to be caring more about Florida State baseball this year. I have a suspicion.
I couldn't care less than I did last year.
It was hard to care last year. We're not casting.
Couple of 3 years.
It's been a bit brutal.
It's been tough.
Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio, Warchant TV.
Orthopedic pain and injury deserves effective treatment options now, so you feel better fast. Whether you have joint pain that won't subside or an urgent orthopedic injury, we are the specialists to get you back on your feet. And there's only one thing better than fast care: expert care. We believe you deserve both. TOC, only experts. Learn more at teamtoc.com.
People who suffer from arthritis are getting real pain relief with exciting biologic therapies at QC Kinetics.
The success rate is there, and there's no better way to treat yourself when it comes to dealing with pain.
Meet Tyler Vale, co-founder of QC Kinetics, who says they can't cure arthritis, but they can treat the pain.
If you think of the tide coming in and out on the beach and what it does, it erodes the sand, right? Can't stop the tide, but eventually when the sand or the beach gets bad enough, and we backfill that beach with sand so that we get generations of enjoyment with that beach again. And the same thing happens with your knee or your shoulder or your hip or your back. We want to backfill the problems that have happened to this point. I'm not stopping the tide, so I'm not stopping the arthritis, but I want to get generations of enjoyment out of those joints again.
Call QC Kinetics now for your free consultation. Learn more about how restorative biologic therapies can get you real and lasting joint pain relief.
Call QC Kinetics, 850-391-4280. That's 850-391-4280. 850-391-4280.
I'm Robert, and I'm a general pest technician at Paul's Termite and Pest Control. I have a fantastic job working for an amazing company. Every day, I take great satisfaction in knowing the work I do helps protect the health of the customers I'm honored to serve, and their pets too. Many are now my friends. Paul's is a local North Florida-based company, and they are constantly teaching all of us techs about the ever-changing needs of our unique part of the world.
I'm Jay, and having the privilege to work with people like Robert and all of our employees is truly an honor. There is no doubt that the staff of Paul's Termite and Pest Control is the best in our industry. All of our people are local, and local really does mean something. We're North Floridians. Our kids go to school here. We shop here. We build relationships here, and we honor our commitments. To all of our customers, thanks for trusting us to protect your family, pets, and home.
For the elimination of termites, any other pests, and a greener lawn too, call Paul's. We'll get them all.
Many orthodontists in Tallahassee can straighten a smile, but at Birch Orthodontics, they're dedicated to providing the finest care possible. The experienced and friendly staff is trained in all of the latest techniques. So whether you need standard treatment like braces or Invisalign, or you have a more complicated case requiring extra attention, Birch Orthodontics is here for you. Set up your free consultation today by visiting birchorthodontics.com, BURCH orthodontics.com, or call 850-877-1692. At Birch Orthodontics, they create beautiful smiles that last a lifetime.
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on. We'll get to headliner questions next hour, of course, and I'm sure there will be many regarding said roster and who we're excited to see.
I came up with a better one. Marvin Jones Jr. Those are incredible footsteps to walk past.
Impossible.
Yes, to fill.
Yeah,
you should ask them that.
Yeah.
Are you happy that you're not like Marvin Jones Jr. who has to follow in those footsteps?
You should wait, though, Ira. You should wait until he's in the room together with him and say, think about what he's going through. Have you thought about that, Cam? Look at that young man. Put your arm around him.
Have you ever wondered how he's put? I mean, you know, your dad.
Your dad played, but nobody thinks of him. But this guy here, sweet Jesus, maybe the best Seminole of all time. Think about the pressure he's under.
Matt Fryer was a great Nole, had huge games, was a very good player for 4 years. Like he was a starter and played a lot.
I remember all of it. It was during my time. Yes.
Yeah, he was a big deal. He was a big deal.
Also,
I'll leave it at that.
I'm the one that's supposed to hate the scrappy white guys. You're kind of infringing on.
I love the Cam Fryer is my new favorite player.
You're going to make him mad, and then he's going to go into his default mode to hate all things.
What if Cam Fryer has 55 or 800?
I already like him. I already like him.
It's going to be tough.
He's my guy. He's my guy.
He'll like him until the first announcer falls into the trap.
Yeah.
And what's amazing is that they still do.
They never stop doing it.
Like, you're like, sir, It is 2024.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
There's Bosa's running out all over the place.
Yeah, watch the NFL.
It's nuts. You're not going to get more athletic than McCaffrey.
Right.
I mean, what are we doing? Stop it.
And there's going to be the Iowa cornerback. He's going to be drafted in the first round.
So what Gene posted, if you're a gold member, in the Renegade room, he asked the question, how many would get drafted? I answered the question.
What'd you say?
I said, I think the categories were like 7 to 8, 9 to 10, 11 to 12, or whatever it was. And I went 9 to 10.
I'm in there.
Is that where you're at?
So that was the thing. That's what got us on this topic on the Smash, was somebody said, we'll be over 9.5.
Yeah. I thought that was a great number.
I don't know. Because and again, this goes back to, this is not really a comment on these players. It's my inability to figure out the draft. Because when we used to do the draft contest, like, I was always the worst because I can't.
That's not your thing, though. It's not.
No.
I love the draft. I often did very well in that.
You did do very well
because I also pay attention to the draft. I love the combine, and I have draft parties. We're gonna have another draft party this year. Tom's gonna be in town. We're gonna do it up.
Did you expect Kando and Janarius Robinson to get drafted when they got drafted?
I don't remember what I projected at that time. I don't remember.
That's the part I have a hard time with is like. So those guys were not productive in college, but obviously they looked the part.
Body types.
And then you've got these guys, a lot of these guys that Florida State are putting out this year not going to have great measurables. Tatum Bethune-'s not going to run a great time.
Yeah, and I don't know.
Kalen DeLoach is not big.
I'm not real sure.
Kalen DeLoach is not big.
But he can fly.
He can fly. So, I mean, like, there's just not a lot of, I don't know. It's just that's where I struggle is, it's easy with the first 2 rounds because those are guys that have everything you want.
Right.
But the other guys, man, I have no clue.
Well, one thing I will say, like, the NFL is very big on, if they draft you in the first 5 rounds, you need to come in and do something. And that something is a lot of times outside of the first or second round is special teams. So if you find a guy,
is that even a thing anymore? By the way, Devin Hester being in the Hall of Fame.
San Francisco, whether special teams matters. They just lost the Super Bowl.
But kickoff coverage does not exist.
Kickoff coverage, you could put us 3 on kickoff coverage.
Why do they even do that? They shouldn't even do that.
Those guys are kicking it into the stands.
Yes, they are. They've eliminated that part.
Literally put us out there without pads.
Right. Yeah.
Who cares? That kid's not returning it.
They could put Mahomes on kickoff.
Although if he saw us out there without pads, he might
catch it. He might climb the goalpost.
He might
jump off and catch it.
But a lot of those guys do play a role on special teams, and I if you can just find a guy that's really athletic. So DeLoach is a perfect example of what you're talking about. He's big enough and he's really fast, and then they figure they can use him in certain capacities. Now, I don't know what he's going to become because
Jarian's a guy like that too.
Jarian's long. He's going to make the league. He's going to do well. He's going to get drafted. They love the fact that he could be a nickel, and he played really well in that role. He really kind of changed his projection big time by sticking around and working hard and doing. I mean, he's a poster child for what it means to do that. Totally changed his reputation. I also, Ira, to the point, you can get in the weeds with this stuff, but I try to take 7 or 8 different sites that are known for digging deep in the draft and projecting players, and you'll have former NFL scouts that look at these guys' film, and then they get in there and weigh in, and you can find an average landing spot for a lot of these guys. And a lot of people do it just for their team. I'm not going to do it for everybody, but I'll do it for the Noles, and I'll want to see. And so you'll see, like, oh, well, Jarian Jones is in the top 175 players mentioned.
Yeah.
So, like, you could just kind of deduce from there where that would be, and other guys that, to your point, other guys that filled a niche role maybe in college and it doesn't translate to the pros, you'll be like, that guy was a really productive player for this team at a Power 5 conference, but I don't see his role in the NFL. And so if you're just taking a cursory glance and saying, hey, he played well for Michigan this year, and then you see, well, he's projected to be an undrafted free agent. Why? Well, the league is very different, so it's fascinating.
Jeremy asked a good question. Matt Fryer or Kenny Shaw? In the chat, he asked this. Who's the better college receiver?
Man, it's
pretty. I mean, Matt Fryer had the better career because he contributed for 4 years as opposed to really kind of 1.5 with Kenny. But
there's going to be recency bias, I think, because Kenny Shaw was so tough.
Yeah,
I mean,
so was Matt.
He was, and I love Kenny Shaw. He was just one of my favorite.
And both
players.
had about similar speed. Both were more kind of I don't know if you call them slot guys, but not even possession guys. They're just guys that made tough catches over the middle. A lot of heart.
Undersized.
Yeah.
Took hits. I mean, Shaw took a beating.
Oklahoma was ridiculous.
Oh my God!
The catch he made at Florida on 3rd and 25, he got helicoptered. Well, that guy would go, and he's 170 pounds.
But I think that's why if you ask Jameis Winston, there's got to be a place in his heart for him forever.
Yeah.
Because a quarterback wants to know, all right, I got to make this throw. It's 3rd and 20. There's no nice way to make this throw.
Yeah.
I'm going to have to fit it in. And this is the only way we're converting here, unless there's a blown coverage, which means you're going to wear it. And a lot of guys that are prima donnas who won't want to make that catch because they know they're going to get a hit, your quarterback knows it before he throws it, so he won't throw it.
Yeah.
He'll just throw it in the stands. And
he had all the trust in the world.
But he trusted him implicitly.
Yeah, I think those two are very similar. I mean, because, again, they both were kind of overshadowed by who else was in their group. But then, it came through with so many great catches.
And Cam Fryer is going to be better than both.
Right.
We'll see, man. I'm excited for the receiving core. Ira brought it up last night. He thought that was the room he was most excited to watch in spring. I think he said it again here today. I agree. I think they've got a nice influx of real speed.
And this isn't a joke. Cam Fryer is one of those guys. He can run. He said,
I know he can.
the reason I thought of him at all was we were talking about the combines. He said when he was a sophomore, we don't know who's timing these. He came to a camp here as a sophomore and ran like low 4.4s.
Mm-hmm.
And then as a
he's
junior,
an athlete, yes.
As a junior, he came and ran in the 4.3s. If that's anywhere close to who he is, come on, man. That's legit speed.
I can't wait till Kenny Shaw's kid is here. And Corey can be like, your
dad's kind of a bum.
It's all right.
Made some tough catches.
This is what happens. This is what happens.
If KB's son comes through here.
I just thought it was
now,
funny.
Rashad's son.
I thought it was funny. He got more questions about his dad than Marvin did about his dad.
Headliner questions forthcoming. Stay with.
Coming up next, more of the Jeff Cameron Show, live and local on Real Talk 93.3, WVFT, Greta, Tallahassee. The latest betting odds and live movements from Vegas. This is your action update. Now here are your latest lines from our guys in the desert.
Florida Gators 10-1 this season at the O'Connell Center. They're a 10.5-point favorite over the LSU Tigers today. 161 the total. Florida State 4-3 on the road this year. A 5-point dog at Virginia Tech. 153 at the Castle Coliseum. The Hokies are looking to end a 3-game losing streak. BYU hosting UCF at the Marriott Center. Cougars are the 10.5-point favorite in Provo. 142.5 the total. The Magic 7-1 against the spread in their last 8 games. They're a 3-point underdog at home to the Oklahoma City Thunder today. 224 the total at the Kia Center in Orlando. Get your free VSiN subscription right now at VSIN.com. For more sports betting news and information, go to VSIN.com. Mike Son at Real Talk 93.3.
eBay Motors is here for the ride. Go ahead, feel your engine. Admire that perfectly installed exhaust. Your vehicle's moving along this freeway like it was made from fresh installs and a whole lot of love. With eBay Motors, you get over 122 million parts to keep it running. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, they'll be the perfect fit every time. Plus, at these prices, well, we're burning rubber, not cash. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
Small business owners, we know finishing your to-do list can feel like rowing upstream, but it's a river, a whitewater river, and the only paddles you have are pool noodles. Then when a new to-do pops up, you're like, nope, I'm already rowing upstream with these pool noodle paddles. At Progressive, we don't want to make your day any harder. That's why we make it easy to get personalized discounts with a commercial auto insurance quote online. So your to-do list is smooth sailing. See if you can save on commercial auto insurance in as little as 6 minutes at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Coverages and discounts not available in all states and subject to policy terms and underwriting.
There's fun to be had every night at the Corner Pocket. Take home prizes on Trivia Tuesdays and Beer Bingo Thursdays. And kickstart your weekend with Martini Fridays. Plus happy hour runs every weekday and game day specials every time the Noles take the field. Watch all the best games at the Corner Pocket's Vegas wall, featuring 560 inches of flat screen TV heaven.
Oh, really?
The best food, the best drinks, and the best place to watch all the games. Tallahassee loves the Corner Pocket.
I'm Greg Tisch, and I'm here to tell you about TCC's first semester. In the fall of 1966, about 300 students were expected to enroll at the brand new Tallahassee Junior College. A total of 698 enrolled, exceeding everyone's expectations. The campus was not finished, though, so classes took place in Rickards High School and then Godby High School. Today, TCC has 7 campuses and enrolls around 15,000 students annually.
TCC thanks our community for 58 years of support. We look forward to moving into the future together.
Hello, I'm Dana Brooks.
And I'm Jimmy Basic.
Traffic cameras are everywhere, providing valuable evidence if you've been in an accident.
But if you can't access that evidence, it could just be your word against theirs.
Basic Brooks is partnered with Roadproof to have access to all their traffic camera footage. If you've been hurt in an accident, give us a call and we'll find out if the proof you need is out there.
Let us find your video evidence so you can come back stronger. Call us now at 850-777-7777.
Social Kitchen is now open on Cary Forest Parkway near Ology Northside, Tallahassee's only premier market where you can receive the famed Snake River Farm steaks and premier meats. Social Kitchen also has chef-prepared meals and sides ready to serve in just under 20 minutes. Perfect for those very busy springtime weeks, weekends, you name it. Hosting some people at the house. Hey, Social Kitchen also has build-your-own charcuterie boards and catering. Stop in and visit Social Kitchen today or visit us online at socialkitchentlh.com. socialkitchentlh.com.
It's time for Seminole Headlines, featuring Warchant.com's Jeff Cameron, managing editor Ira Schofel, and senior writer Corey Clark. Your weekly dose of all things FSU, pistols, and pies starts right now. Here's Jeff Cameron.
Hour number 2, headliner questions coming your way. I'm Jeff, that's Corey and Ira, and we want to say thank you, as always, to Dr. Birch, who reached out to me yesterday. I told Ira this. I'll be swinging by to see Dr. Birch momentarily. Well, my son has an appointment, and it's been a minute. I haven't been in that office. I've missed her terribly. She said also she's funny because she says, don't you want to just come by and pick up the sponsorship money? I mean, good Lord, Cameron, I know you've done all right, but don't you have gambling debts to pay?
Yeah,
is what she said.
We all do.
Yeah. So I said,
She's accused us in the past of using this as beer money, which I thought I was a little offended by. You know,
maybe we should charge her.
Because we have our own beer money.
Yeah, and I drink vodka.
That's right.
Vodka money.
Well, nonetheless, Birch Orthodontics, the best in the business for you and your
basically,
family.
She's supporting our vices, gambling.
Somebody
and
has to.
alcohol.
Somebody has to. So why not be Dr. Birch?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's what you're. It's a win-win-win, people. Your kids go get the best orthodontic treatment
in the world,
available in the world. And then we get money for our vices.
I can get top shelf.
With vodka, it doesn't really matter.
And I hate the taste of vodka, so
it doesn't really taste like much.
I get my
you
top
put it
shelf
in your Mio is what you do. And,
and birchorthodontics.com is the website. And it's, again, take it from us. Our kids have gone there. They did tremendous work. Great people. Great Noles. You can talk a little FSU football while you're there. And they make it affordable with payment plans and everything else. We cannot recommend them highly enough.
Agreed. And I am
Plus now Jeff can pay his gambling debts.
Well, and we're coming down the stretch here. I think we're almost done. The other night was at dinner with my son Clark and said, let me see your teeth, buddy. We do a teeth check every now and again at the dinner table.
Yeah, you have to.
And I said, let me see. They're almost pristine. Dr. Birch, if you're listening, I think we're done. I personally think we're done. Now, she may disagree, and it's just her opinion.
That's her opinion. It's not a fact.
But I value her opinion.
And now there's nothing to pick on Clark for anymore. You have no more material.
I got a lot of things to pick on Clark for.
He's perfect.
I can pick on Clark for hours. He's 13 years old, man. He is prime picking on age right there, buddy.
And he takes it well.
Oh, I cross the line every now and then. I can tell the moment it happens. He's like, okay, I'm about done with this, Pops. That's one too many. All right, where do we want to go here? Let's get our first questions in for the day. Oh, I saw one right off the bat that I liked, and it was a question for your son, Brady, Corey.
Oh, okay.
Has he delivered any more notable book reports on celebrities and astronauts? How's his thirst for knowledge coming along?
Not great. I've asked him 3 times. I've been away from him, but he has not given me the report on Ted Turner that I was hoping to get. I feel like as an Atlanta kid growing up in Atlanta, he needs to know who Ted Turner is. He does know that the ballpark used to be named after him, the old one. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, but why? And he goes, well, because he was the owner. I'm like, yeah, but how did he get all that money? What did he do before the Braves? What did he do with the Braves? Who did he marry? Who did he donate money to? Like, I'm still waiting on the report for that. So, and he's not crushing it in the classroom, so maybe I shouldn't have him be studying.
Giving him extra.
You're piling on to the work there.
We dialed it back a little bit.
R.A. writes, gentlemen, off-season parenting. This is what we get, guys.
Okay, this has turned into a parenting.
Here we go.
Parenting podcast.
Gentlemen, off-season parenting question. If I hypothetically let my 15-year-old son use a betting app and he hypothetically had Jennings for MVP at plus 25,000, what important lessons did he learn about life and the NFL? Also, is it legal for a college coach to fund an NIL? Now, that's not a parenting question.
I don't believe it is.
I don't believe it is either.
But there's ways to get around.
But, of course, we know it has to happen.
What about a coach's wife? or a coach,
or a friend of a friend, or whatever,
yeah.
man. Yeah, but
be like the Alabama baseball coach. He got some really good friends.
He was smooth.
Really smart the way he handled that.
Real sharp.
The guy that's in the casino saying, "No, you don't understand."
With big duffel
This
bags.
is the baseball
head coach at Alabama.
He's giving me a hot tip right
telling
now.
me to bet on it.
And I'm trying to bet $100,000 and don't understand limits. And they're like, no,
college
15
baseball.
But
grand,
the
maybe.
thought that you would try to bet $100,000 on a college baseball game, like, no, you can only bet 10,000. He goes, no, but you don't understand. I've got inside knowledge from the Alabama baseball coach, as if the
You
casino's
don't want to give me all your money?
Yeah, the casino's in a rush to give you their money. That's so stupid.
It's also, well, there are a lot of things about it that are crazy. But how about my man in Alabama making $500,000 a year, risking it for what, 15
moronic.
grand?
I also, when it first came out that the security or whatever was aware of who he was communicating with, and we're all trying to figure out at the time, those cameras must be really high def, or maybe some of the spies, or it's like no, he showed them,
showing them. Here is Twitter handle. Hey, this is the guy. I would say, so I had McCaffrey as the MVP.
I did too, and had San Fran won, he would have won the MVP.
Probably, but
I think so.
Jennings throwing the touchdown and catching
a
touchdown.
Yeah, he had 2 touchdowns. He was in the conversation.
I was not happy when he caught that pass. I'm like, oh God, they're going to give it to him because he threw one pass on a trick play. Yeah, I mean, you get that close to tasting, hypothetically, tasting a great bet. And
well,
then
all right,
I
do like that you're teaching him young. That
you have
involves an awful lot of heartbreak.
Yeah, as somebody who got dragged to the racetrack all the time as a kid, I'm not against this, but I don't know.
You got to teach him. You got to teach him.
Yeah, all right. Look how you turned out. You were going to horse track when you were 11.
That's true.
I told Clark is enamored with my gambling, and I've said, okay, if you want to know about it, we're going to learn it. This is how we roll. But also, by the way, then that gives you the opportunity to tell him not to bet money he didn't have, which Clark has none. So he can't make.
And honestly, with Brady, I'm taking it slow, getting him to develop a taste for vodka.
Yeah,
I'm not doing it right away. We're not doing shots. We're
Right.
just mixing a little bit into like
In the
his
Kool-Aid.
Mountain Dew.
Right.
Yeah,
Just here and there. Gotcha. Henry writes, more frustrating play calling. Mike Norvell inside the 5-yard line, or Shanahan with a double-digit lead in a Super Bowl. It's definitely Shanahan, who went away for the entirety of the third quarter from the run. In fact, the first 6 plays to start the second half were all passes that led to 2 straight 3-and-outs. It's Shanahan. It's not close.
I don't remember Norvell being
No, he hasn't
horrible
been
inside
horrible.
the
He's
5.
got-
Jimbo Fisher.
It's the complaints from 2 years ago where
Yeah.
everybody thought he was being too cute.
Oh yeah, Jimbo Fisher, when his kickers always lead the country in field goal attempts. That's the one
That'll hurt your feelings.
Yeah.
Let's see. Panama Noel writes, Ira, you talked to Mike in Orlando, and then you spoke with Jeff on the Smash. Did Mike take a subtle jab at Mario? We have 2 full-length practice fields, he said. Does he hate Mario as much as it appears that he does?
That would be slick if that was a shot. I
That's
didn't take
awesome.
it that
Did
way.
he say that?
Well, he did. I mean, because
Why would he say that?
somebody asked him about how practice is going to be affected
Yeah.
during the spring with the construction for the football facility. And he said, "Well, we'll still have 2 full-length practice. We'll have a grass field outside.
I mean,
in the full-length.
I mean, you're probably right, but it is still pretty funny
it is funny.
that you could take it that way. Because for the people that don't know, Miami does not. They have 1.5. Or 1 4/5, I guess. Yeah.
It would be cool if that's what he was doing. I like the idea of the coach taking shots at Miami.
We'll roll with it.
Nate wants to know who wins the title first, Norvell or the Bills? That's actually a good question, because the problem for the Bills, of course, is that Patrick Mahomes exists. But they have an elite quarterback in Josh Allen, and they were that close to beating Kansas City this year, and they had nobody left on defense with all those injuries. So they were kind of close.
I feel like that's a 50-50. It's like,
it's
because
tough.
Florida State should be getting in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Pretty, not easily, but with some regularity the rest of this decade. And then but that's tough. It's tough to win the college football playoff. You're going to win 3 or 4 games now, just like you do in the NFL.
I'm going to go with Norvell just because I agree with you. I think the fact that Mahomes is in the way is a challenge.
Yeah, he's only 28.
We don't know who's going to be standing in the way of
Good grief.
Florida State.
You're right. I think I'm not done with Mahomes and the Chiefs like I was.
I don't get
with
you guys.
with the Brady.
I'm done.
Why?
No, I'm not done with it, but I would like the Bills to win a Super Bowl. I think that would be cool. There's a lot of teams in that. I'd like the Browns to win a Super Bowl for Stephanie. And the Chiefs are just they're just going to be doing this for the next decade.
Yeah, no, I'm done with them. Luckily, my Bucks pasted the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. We're the saviors of all that's right in the NFL.
Well, Tom Brady got one.
Yeah.
Great.
No, nobody's worried about Tom Brady. The Bucks dominated. How many points did the Chiefs score in that Super Bowl, Corey?
I don't know. 11?
9.
Yeah. Yep.
Bucks defense dominated that game.
I will say this about Bills fans. And you kind of like living in the state of Florida, not questioning Florida NFL franchises fans, but it's not quite as intense as maybe some other areas.
Oh, in Buffalo, yes.
So when I was up for the Syracuse game last year, was it this past season or the year before? They were Syracuse
22.
When I was up there that weekend, I went to a sports bar with some friends, and the Bills were on the road. And man, that sports bar, I mean, there were Bills jerseys everywhere. I mean, it was like everybody in that town, and that's not even Buffalo.
Bills
it's just
Mafia
near
is
Buffalo.
real. By the
It's
way,
unbelievable.
There's a huge contingent of Buffalonians in Bradenton.
Really?
I don't know why, but there are. And if you
Is
go,
that what we call them, Buffalonians?
that's what I call them. It's a great name. And
It
should
is.
be. And so anyhow, there's a pizza joint not far from where my parents live down in Bradenton. You go in there, it is Bills stuff everywhere. They pack the joint for all Bills games. And on top of it, whoever the owner of this place is like a true blue Buffalo guy. Jim Kelly's got autographs and Thurman Thomas. They got everybody
Nice.
up there on the wall. It's
Bills are
awesome.
kind of a lovable team to cheer
Yeah,
for.
yeah.
I mean, their fans are crazy, jumping into tables on fire, but, we all got crazy fans.
Who's back first, the Cowboys or the Hurricanes? Oh, my goodness. I mean, the Cowboys go to the playoffs frequently. The
just don't ever
Hurricanes are
win.
just not, they're not relevant.
Yeah, I'd say the Cowboys
but
have
you
won
can
12
be-
games for 3 straight years. I
Yeah,
think.
but they just don't ever win the playoffs.
Right.
And you can get in the playoffs at barely over 500, whereas in college football, you're done.
Yeah, and Miami hasn't sniffed the playoffs.
But I feel like the
It should be
Cowboys
there.
are relevant throughout the course
Right.
of an NFL season. You're wondering, they get home playoff games. Like the Hurricanes haven't been relevant. I mean, maybe 2 weeks out of the last 20 years.
Jason wants to know if we can explain tier 2 rights and what they are and would include. So go ahead. This is Iris. I know what they are. Go ahead, Iris.
It's so tier 1 is basically all football games, especially the ones that are going to be like on national syndication. ESPN is going to want them. All the whatever conference you're in, like they're the big games that are going to make money.
They're like the Marvel movies.
Right.
You could say tier 2 is like Raycom.
Tier 2 it's Wake, Syracuse, or if Florida State's in it, 95% of their games are going to be on the marquee. But like it's the other games in your conference that some TV channels are going to want, but they're not going to be like on the national
Limited releases, like independent movies.
Yeah.
Like
and
independent.
then tier 3 would be like the stuff that shows up on the streaming apps and stuff like that.
That's a good way of doing it. The only problem with your analogy, Corey, is that most of those independent films are far superior to the films that you're referencing.
But
as
nobody
tier
watches
one.
them.
Very few people watch them, right? Discerning people do.
Right.
But most people don't care about the games on Raycom.
You would have had
That's the point I'm making.
It's a fair point.
It is a fair point. He knows I'm right about that.
You would have loved. I took a class called Writing on Film
Mm-hmm.
back in the day in Gainesville that you would have loved. Because we watched this a Japanese movie that was like a takeoff on westerns. No, it was a Tampopo, I think is the name of it. And anyway, just
can we get back to the Super Bowl squares?
Just thinking, our artsy, cultured friend over here.
Yeah, he would love that. You're right.
Walker writes, and by the way, I just love that it's Walker McGee. I say your whole name every time. It just makes me laugh. I love it.
That is a great name.
Walker McGee. Now batting. A baseball conference tournament in Hoover. One can only hope, right? How excited are y'all for baseball? I'm very excited, Walker. I got high hopes for baseball this year. I don't think they're going to win the College World Series. I just think they're going to
who's number 1 in the country? Wake.
Yeah.
Oh, man,
loaded.
And they are not likable.
No. But they are more likable than that Tennessee team.
No, not a whole lot, man.
It's close.
Half their team
I
wears their
agree.
shirts unbuttoned to the
agreed.
closer was a complete
Yep,
clown.
I'm with you. There's a lot of douchery on that
There
team.
is a lot.
It is no doubt about it. But that Tennessee team took the cake.
Is there
for
a
the
correlation
ages.
between douchery and being a really good baseball team?
Possible.
Apparently, like should Florida State guys start
here's
just
the oddity.
playing shirtless?
Here's the oddity. The three of us love baseball.
Yeah.
Love watching baseball. We're old enough to care about baseball deeply. But even growing up, I thought there was a weird percentage of guys that play baseball, and I played baseball. So did you. There's a really high percentage of douchery in baseball.
It's similar to golf now. I think it's getting close and closer to
really
golf.
Interesting.
So, like a guy that we all loved at Florida State, Tyler
Buster
Holt.
Posey. Oh,
Tyler Holt, like you knew that the other teams didn't like Tyler Holt.
Hated
but
him.
imagine if you had a team of 8 of them. Like
Or
you've
20
never,
of 'em.
no team you've ever cheered for had like half the team be those guys.
Well, and the weird thing with Tyler is they hated the way that he would slide into third on an easy stand-up triple and then
Get up to
clap in the guy's face. They hated a lot of that stuff. That's okay. That's one type of douchery. Then there's just the walking around on steroids with your shirt unbuttoned halfway down, like Tennessee did, arguing at the umpire on every single play. That's a different
dropping
kind.
F-bombs on the umpire.
I don't want to put Holt in that
no,
category.
I'm not saying he is.
Right.
I'm just saying, but yeah, he's a guy that can get under your skin.
Oh, I'd throw at him. Absolutely.
Right. But imagine if you had 8-10 guys
You
who
just
are
throw at
way
the whole
worse.
team.
Yeah.
And what's crazy, the Tennessee guys, I feel like they just walked out of the forest. Like they were guys from the hills of Tennessee, didn't know any better.
Mm-hmm.
The Wake Forest kids are kind of
they're
supposed to be more sophisticated.
You would think.
They go to Wake. Yeah. They don't go to. They're not from the hill country in Tennessee that don't know any better. These guys are going to try to be doctors one day, and they're ripping their shirts up. And
I don't know that the baseball team's trying to be doctors,
probably
buddy.
not.
I'm going to guess that they don't.
They're probably all going to try to be Major League Baseball.
Yeah.
I am back to the question. I'm looking forward to the season.
Cautiously optimistic.
I was a lot more. I was pretty fired up last year, and it didn't go that well. So I'm a little wait and see.
You know.
And I know they're going to be better. I'm just still waiting to see.
Yeah, I want to be careful. People hear my enthusiasm and they might think that I think they're going to be great. I think Link in the interview I did with him kind of indicated they wouldn't be great. He knows that they've still got a ways to go, maybe even defensively. But I do think they have guys in spots that are the more natural spots in some cases. And then I think they're going to be, how could they not pitch better? I mean, Leiter's going to be good. They got some guys that are going to be good. And they got some young arms they're very excited about. There are enough guys that you've heard described as throwing 94, 95 to go with a wipeout slider. I've got Leiter throws 4 pitches for strikes. There's a lot of guys that you kind of like, okay, they couldn't pitch to save their life last year.
No, they were not very good at it. It's a pretty important part of the game, too.
It's huge, right?
Yeah.
So that alone should make you, I mean, they should be in games. Yeah. They should be in games. Corey, why do you think they're going to suck?
I don't think they're going to suck.
I see it on your face.
No, I don't. I
see it on
think
your
they're
face.
going to be a 3 seed.
PC Native writes, Jeff, years ago, you used to have an intro with a lady saying her baby, you want to party. I love that intro. Why don't you use it anymore? I don't think that I did. Maybe it's something similar to that.
What if he's thinking of Mad Dog? Oh no, he's Springsteen. He's a Springsteen
I don't know. No, I don't know what intro you're talking about. We've used a lot of different sound bites over the years. One of them may have been a hooker. So that's possible.
But your intro has been The Who for 20 years.
The entire time, just about, yeah. Trevor writes, did you boys hear Corey describe the dress code at his wedding, what you would wear to the Outback?
Yeah. So somebody asked what the dress would be, and I said, well, Seminole casual. That's something that apparently is a thing now. Yeah. But I said it'd be what you would wear to the Outback. Not the Outback, to an Outback steakhouse. You know, you're not going to go in there in flip-flops. But you could. I mean, they'd seat
I don't think they're kicking you out.
They'd seat you for sure, right? Oh, you want your
blooming onion?
You need your blooming onion. Here
but
you go.
Usually you're going to wear jeans and a button-down shirt.
It's funny you bring it up. Not for nothing. I'm not trying to take shots. I certainly don't want to ruin their reputation. I haven't been to an Outback in 20 years.
And back in the day, man, we used to go all the time.
Well, that was fancy dining back then. Yeah. Especially for college kids.
They don't even come close to going to an Outback.
Yeah, I mean, they're not bad. You know,
it's what it is.
Yeah,
they're like one of a million chains just like them.
Yeah,
that have the same fare.
Except they have.
Well, they try to do the Australian take.
They got kangaroos on the walls. They got kangaroo. They serve kangaroo. That's the difference.
But if you guys want to sponsor Seminole Headlines,
we
will talk up.
We'll go in. Maybe I'll refamiliarize myself with the menu.
They serve koala and they serve kangaroo.
Seminole Headlines 93.3 Real Talk Radio Warchant TV continues in a moment.
A cup of Joe, Java, Brew, Go-Go Beans, Brainwater, Liquid Lightning, Wakey Juice, whatever you call your cup of coffee, you're missing out if it's not Grassroots Coffee. At grassrootscoffee.com, you'll find an easy way to order the best roasted coffee beans available. It's very simple. Choose the blend you want and how you want it ground, and the bag you receive will have the date your beans were roasted and packaged on it, all written by hand and signed by the roast master himself. You'll know that's as fresh as it gets. You can get Grassroots outside of your house also at some of your favorite restaurants in town. Next time you're out to eat, try asking for Grassroots Coffee by name, because there's a good chance they will have it for you. And if you own a business, Grassroots Coffee has options to stock your break rooms with all the productivity powder your team needs. Plus, like some other options that you'll find at work, Grassroots Coffee actually is a part of our community. Hit grassrootscoffee.com today and get yourself a treat. Some locally owned, locally roasted, and locally loved Grassroots coffee.
Excellence defines us, so we'll never let orthopedic pain and injury define you. TOC is a physician-led team of fellowship-trained specialists providing the highest level of orthopedic care in the region. With 12 centers of excellence and TOC Now urgent care clinics, our patients access affordable expert care fast. TOC, only experts. Schedule an appointment at teamtoc.com.
Hey folks, it's me, Mac and More, spokesperson for Tallahassee's favorite Apple and Mac product store, Mac and More. We all know what Mac is all about. It's your MacBooks, iMacs, Apple Watch, iPhones, iPads, we've all got them. But what's really cool is the and more. And there's a lot more at Mac and More. They can help set up your new gear, migrate and back up your data, teach you new tricks and how to use everything better. And if something costs too much to fix, they'll tell you the truth. There's a lot more at Mac and More. See for yourself at macandmoresystems.com. Or you can take it from me, Mr. Mac and More.
Man, I just got a text from my wife. She wants me to cook dinner and then snuggle on the couch next to a roaring fire.
So what's the problem, Dave? You already got the new grill and you're a great cook.
I got one major problem. We don't have a fireplace.
Man, that's an easy fix. Just call Hearth and Patio. They got a lot of fireplaces that can help you for your romantic evenings. Wood, gas, electric, and a ton of different sizes, man. Call Hearth and Patio today, 850-727-4282, or visit them online at hearthpatiotallahassee.com. Hearth and Patio. Ignite that spark in your life.
It's easy to see. We're being conned by the institutions we used to trust. The mainstream media is distracting us with meaningless headlines instead of focusing on the harsh day. Go to mypatriotsupply.com. mypatriotsupply.com.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Rolling on. Let's go. Chris writes, hey, fellas, here we go into another offseason, but my anticipation is riding high. I'm going to continue with the positiveness from last post and make one point that I hope stands true. DJU was a 5-star coming out of high school. I know Jordan Travis was about a 3. Either way, expectations and the potential for eliteness was a good bit higher for DJ. If you think about what Tokars and Norvell were able to do with Jay Trav, can you just imagine the ceiling they might get DJ to reach? And then he goes on to talk about that's a recipe for success, and he's excited to see what they can do. I've thought of something similar in that you should probably get DJU's best season of his career.
You would think.
They did have 4 years.
Yeah, he's only got 1 year.
As opposed to like 9 months.
Right. He's played a ton of football, though. Yeah. He started a ton of games.
Yep.
No, I agree. And I think the thing that Norvell said when we talked to him on Saturday in Orlando was the best thing I thought that was, in terms of encouragement in that realm is he said that, from watching the games at Oregon State with DJ, they sat down and watched 3 games together and from his Oregon State time. And he, after listening to him talk and explain why, if you throw a pick or why this happened or why that play didn't work or whatever, he said listening to his answers and listening to what he had been coached to do, because, you can watch a quarterback, but you don't know what he's been coached to do. Mm-hmm. Norvell kind of paused. And he kind of said something along the lines of, I know I can help him with some things. Like you could tell he's like, I'm not saying he's egotistical, but he thinks he can get him to play much better than even he did last year, which was pretty good.
Yeah, and I would think Mike would believe that all offensive minds think that way, right? That they'll get them in their system and they'll get more out of them, or they've got techniques that they can use to.
But it sounds like he's got specific things he knows, like, okay, I know I can do this with him, and it's going to be successful, as opposed to, again, just that, hey, this kid is talented. He's big and strong. Like, for example, when Jimbo brought Everett Golson in, he was confident about Everett Golson because I think it was more about his self-belief in him, but it wasn't like, this seems more tangible because they've actually had these conversations.
I hope one of those things he plans to do is run that big bitch when it's 3rd and 1.
Yeah, 3rd and 3.
That's just an aside.
He can fall forward.
Yeah,
for
that's a giant man. I mean, just go ahead and plow him into the line.
And I think DJ's here for it.
I like it. Let's go. Michael writes, I always admire how ahead of the game you guys are. You all in the shows with Taylor Swift long before she even knew who Travis Kelce was.
That's true.
We brought her into sports.
That's true. With that said, give me a prophecy that you'll predict will happen with any Seminole sport this calendar year and make it juicy, boys.
Corey's got baseball going to Omaha.
Winning Omaha, not just getting there.
Omaha.
You can hear it in his voice, that certainty.
Yeah. Cam Fryer is going to be better than his dad.
Well, you have such a low expectation.
How could he be worse?
My goodness gracious. That's not fair. That's not fair.
Man, it's tough. I'm going to go football because I don't have a good feel for any predictions for the other two.
How about the softball team beats Oklahoma?
That would be something.
Don't feel it, do you guys?
It's just
the first 5 games I didn't, but it was 5 games. It was really early.
If you guys didn't, if you're not on camera, if you're just driving around, that silence did mean something.
Yeah.
You should have seen Corey's face. He's like, ooh.
And I was there to watch Oklahoma in person last year.
They did lose that pitcher though.
Yeah.
And their best player, that center fielder, they lost her too. But
15
I bet
came
Oklahoma's gotten some players to replace them.
You think
They've
they
probably
have?
done pretty well
Without
out there.
glancing over at the recruiting
I
rankings?
haven't checked them. I think they've done pretty well. But real quick, I know this is what this show is, but Florida State does have a very, very good freshman class in softball, and they played well this weekend. They just gotta find some pitching.
They will, right?
Yeah, they should.
There's no way they're devoid of pitching.
No, they just didn't pitch all that well this week.
Here's my lofty prediction. DJ Uyunglele,
yeah,
ACC Player of the Year.
Oh, that is juicy. That's a juicy
Well, he has to
morsel.
overcome some of the guys on his own team, so that's impressive.
What does that mean?
Well, only one person can win an ACC Player of the Year, and they may be on that roster.
Oh, on
not
Florida
named
State.
DJ.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's
Who
a
are you
lot of
thinking?
talent there.
Who are you thinking?
You could go with a running back. You could go with Hakeem Williams. You could go with
Hakeem Williams, ACC Player of the Year.
Oh,
Well, I bet
man.
you could get that at plus 10,000 right now.
So DJ's got to throw it to him, right?
Right, yeah.
There you go.
All right.
There you go. So somebody's going to emerge as a star in that receiving
All
core.
right, there's my juicy pick. What's your guys' juicy pick?
I just gave you a juicier one.
Hakeem Williams.
Hakeem Williams is going to win the ACC Player of the Year.
Yeah.
I'll say baseball. Baseball has a winning record.
My God,
Back
Corey.
over 500.
How about this? How about
years without having a losing record? What are you doing?
Leonard comes back next year.
That's not juicy.
I know. I can't think of anything. It's a tough ask. Because they might finish like 16 and 15. It's gonna be dicey.
It's just not going to be a fun subject.
No,
for
it
the
isn't.
foreseeable
I was talking with
future.
Ira about that.
I don't like the conversation. When you look at NFL rosters, writes Joseph, you see a lot of Hoss offensive linemen who played for Wisconsin. Insert the name of a small town here. Do we not have anybody recruiting dairy farm country?
Buddy, Iowa and Wisconsin are just loading up.
Yeah.
Is there something about the Midwest linemen?
Well,
that
listen,
they just
Iowa has churned out a bunch of top-tier offensive linemen to the NFL in the last 15 years. One of them is obviously left tackle for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but they have, these have been can't-miss dudes.
Yeah, and we didn't that's where we were wrong on the kid that's transferring from Alabama back to Iowa. He is from there, and he was committed to there. That's why he wanted to go back there.
But still,
I do think
it's
it's
ridiculous.
Well,
you have one life to live. You're going to go play Iowa football.
I thought it was a great
Get paid and get drafted in the first round.
He's going to get drafted if he goes and plays at UTEP.
I thought one of the most interesting comments from any of these newcomers was Marvin Jones Jr. when he goes, yeah, man, when I got to college, I realized how much harder it is to beat good offensive tackles. He goes, because I don't know if you guys watch high school football in South Florida. It's a lot of receivers running around.
Really fast.
It's like we don't have a lot of great offensive tackles.
Kid and say, hey, try to stay in front of that freak at defensive end as best you can.
So you wouldn't challenge a whole lot. But Iowa, life's tougher for a defensive end growing up in Iowa.
It would be nice. It would be nice to get some Midwestern or not, get some dudes on this roster that end up being very good. That you recruit out of high school that end up being very good.
I think that's the next step to take is to bring in.
Because it has not happened. They haven't had.
It may happen this year.
Yeah, because that Robert Scott's the last guy they signed out of high school that's played a game for him.
Andy writes, in a recent interview with Mike Norvell, he mentioned conversations with Oregon State's coaching staff in his recruitment of DJ. Are we at this point now in the days of portal popularity where there are open conversations between the gaining coach and the losing coach? Well, that losing coach was moving on.
He left, right?
He was leaving.
He would not. I don't think Norvell would have the audacity to call
unless the kid
Shane
clearly,
Beamer.
unless DJ clearly, like it was an amicable divorce or separation.
Right.
But also, Derek Ray, who's FSU's general manager of personnel, used to work for Jonathan Smith at Oregon State. So there's a relationship there.
By the way, I do like the way Andy ended this as an analogy because it immediately made me uncomfortable. He said, it seems like that could be quite a touchy conversation. It would be akin to interviewing an ex-boyfriend about a girl you'd like to date.
Fair.
That is fair. But yeah, it doesn't. It's not quite apples to apples because Jonathan Smith had left already. I don't think Norvell talks to him about DJ.
Right.
Like he's not calling, like I said, he's not calling Shane Beamer to be like, hey, tell me about this Jaheim Bell character. What am I getting out of him? How should I coach him? What are the buttons to push? He's not doing that with the coach that's still there.
Sean writes, football season is officially over, guys. Basketball on its way to the NIT. Well, that's maybe, Sean. Maybe. Baseball opening day is this week. I want an overview, gents. Original elite headliner.
All right, Sean.
Yeah. Well, we've talked some about the baseball team, and go back, Sean. Listen to my 30-minute interview with Link Jarrett, and I'll probably do another one here very, very soon. So that we might go position by position this week. We'll see.
I'm interested in so they have the three guys we know about with Cam and Jaime and Tibbs. Yeah, those are
three really good bats. They've added some
dudes that have done a lot in college. You just wonder how they'll fit in and where they're going to play. Like I know the one kid hit like 20 bombs last year and is a shortstop, but is he a good enough shortstop?
You talking about Faro's kid?
No. Yeah. No, the other guy.
Yeah, but the Faro kid did hit a bunch of home runs for a freshman, but he also swings and misses a lot. So
they got to be good. They were the worst team in the conference defensively last year.
I don't think they're going to be elite defensively, but I know that they're striving towards having guys who can play their damn position as opposed to just being in the lineup because of their bat.
That's a great aspiration.
It is a great aspiration.
Other teams do it, it looks like.
By the way, Jeffrey, I would suggest not ever going to another game again with your son. I say that before reading his question. I have taken my 10-year-old son to the following home games through the years. 2019, Boise State, lost. 2022, Wake Forest, lost. 2023, Alabama State, JT broken leg. Yeah, man, stop going. Now, I'm not a superstitious.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I'm not superstitious, but out of an abundance of caution, how do I tell my son I'm never taking him to a home game again? Yeah, that's what you say.
Yeah, you have to. And you explain it. I mean, he's old enough. He's got to learn. It's like the son that has to learn about the Super Bowl MVP odds.
Or you could do like when a shooter's struggling, you get him to the line. Like, give him a gimme.
He gave North Alabama, and Jordan Travis broke his leg.
That's true. He tried.
Alabama State, wasn't it?
No, North Alabama.
North Alabama. He wrote Alabama State, yeah. I don't remember which team it was.
Or don't sit next to him. Maybe that's the problem is y'all are too close to each other. Like, try something where you sit four rows
Well,
down.
Jeffrey, here's what you could do. He's 10 now. Let's say he's 11 for the upcoming season. If he makes good decisions, you could get him a seat and you don't have to sit with him. Like, break up the mojo. Like that way you don't deny your kid the chance to go to the game, but you remove an element of part of the curse.
You're also not causing losses.
Right. And Jeffrey, you may be the problem. Maybe it's not your son.
It feels like it
See
could
what I'm
be.
saying?
Yeah.
Could be Jeffrey.
But they have to figure that out on their own. They have to work on it.
That's why you let him go to a game.
But don't punish your son, Jeffrey.
No.
It's not his fault.
Let him go to the game.
We don't have enough information to pin it on the kid.
It could be
yet.
his fault.
It could be.
Well,
we don't have enough information yet.
So let him go to one of these games against a lesser tier team. And if they lose and Jeffrey's not there, then his son can never come back to a game.
Correct.
And I'll stand by that.
Yeah,
and we should enforce it.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not
picture up on the wall.
You're not coming back in here, son. You got some issues. You're not coming to this game. Go take it to a Florida game.
Please.
Yeah, by all means. Or Miami.
Go to Miami.
Yeah, we're not doing this. Seminole Headlines, 93.3 Real Talk Radio. Warchant TV continues in a moment.
Your local news now.
Monday, a judge set a trial date for Donald Adelson. She is a former mother-in-law of Dan Markle. Markle was an FSU law professor who was murdered in the Benton Hills neighborhood of Tallahassee in 2014. Donna's trial is set to begin September 30th. Adelson was arrested in South Florida in November. At the time of the arrest, Donna was on her way to Vietnam, a country that does not extradite to the U.S. She was arrested just 1 week after her son Charlie was convicted for the murder of Markle. 2 men were arrested over the weekend in Leon County in connection to a 2022 shooting that left a 16-year-old dead in Bainbridge. Cameron Bell and Ladarius Campbell's weekend arrest stemmed from a shooting that happened in November of 2022 on North Sim Street, leaving 16-year-old Kadarius Smart dead. 2 other men, Henry Knight and Terrence Anderson, were arrested a few days after the incident. Campbell was also involved in a separate shooting that happened at a Tallahassee convenience store in August of 2020. This is Rachel Anay with Real Talk 93.3 Local News Update, brought to you by Macklemore Systems, Tallahassee's go-to Mac store. Check them out online at MacklemoreSystems.com.
This is meteorologist Paul Frobley with your Real Talk 93.3 weather update. Sunshine mixed with clouds at times this afternoon with highs around 62. Northwesterly winds 8 to 15 miles per hour. Lows level off around 40 tonight, clear skies. Bright sunshine expected tomorrow. Highs level off around 67. Low 70s Thursday, upper 60s Friday. This report is brought to you by the Lawn Johns. For all your landscaping and lawn care needs, visit thelawnjohns.com. Right now, it's 59 degrees.
At Paul's Termite and Pest Control, we know if you have something in your home that's not supposed to be there, you want it gone now.
Not in a couple of days, not tomorrow, but today. That's why we offer a same-day guarantee.
If you call Paul's before 12, one of our technicians will be out before 5. We guarantee it.
The health of you, your family, and your pets is why we promise to do everything possible to quickly resolve your problem.
And we do so using the safest chemicals. Notice a pest problem?
Call Paul's Termite and Pest Control before 12, and we're there before 5.
Call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
Paul's Termite and Pest Control has been treating termites from the exterior of your home for about 25 years.
Paul's was the first to introduce the Centricon termite colony elimination system to North Florida and is the leader of this non-invasive treatment.
Instead of dumping gallons and gallons of harsh chemicals into our soil, Centricon uses environmentally sensitive treatments loaded in bait stations.
These stations are strategically placed around the home. If termites are present, they feed, take it back to the colony, which is shortly destroyed.
To learn more about Centricon
and a free consultation too,
call Paul's.
We'll get them all.
Life is stressful. Dinner shouldn't be. That motto is why Register Sausage has been doing business in the Florida Panhandle and Lower Alabama for over 75 years. A proud sponsor of Seminole Headlines, Register Sausage always provides the best Southern smoked sausage to over 140 grocery stores and restaurants throughout the Southeast. Headliners have discovered the Register's difference. You can too. To find a store that carries Registers near you or to buy directly, head to registermeats.com. That's registermeats.com. Register Sausage. Yay, sausage!
Seminole Headlines returns now. Head to YouTube and search for Warchant TV today to catch the show live or on demand. Now, here's Jeff Cameron, Ira Schofel, and Corey Clark.
Keep it rolling here. Get back to the questions. And the next one is Jimbo doing his best to win back Seminole Nation? I saw where he attended 11 service over the weekend. He's been showing up at other Seminole events lately. What gives? Take care. That's from Butch.
First of all, he's got some time on his hands. But
I was gonna say that's retired, right? Yeah.
He was it was nice to see him at Mike Martin's funeral. Or ceremony. And he and 11 were super close. Like he and me were best friends, but he and 11 were, 11, he would hang out in the dugout and they talk baseball.
Yeah, he loves baseball.
He loves baseball.
He played baseball.
I was surprised. I guess I wasn't surprised because I just didn't know how much he had kept up with the family since moving to College Station. But the fact that he was on the field, like he was with the family members and close friends, was like, oh, that's kind of cool. That means they must have still had a relationship even after he left.
There's been some reconciliation.
Yeah. All right. Well, good.
Yeah, I won't get into that. But yeah, so there it is. He was back. And no, I've always said, big picture wise, if enough time goes by, he'll be welcomed back for some anniversary of that 2013 team. At some point, he'll walk out onto that football field.
Yeah, if he's not coaching or if he's coaching at a low level.
Like 2033, Jimbo Fisher walks out and waves.
Yeah, sure.
It will happen. It will happen at some point.
Especially if Norvell has put this thing back on the map and they're consistently very good. People will but
I mean, the man won a title. That was an undefeated season.
But he also dropped his pants and crapped all over the program.
Without question. We all know the dynamics. I'm just saying that it is so hard to go undefeated and win a national title.
It is, but it's very similar to the way Florida people felt about Urban Meyer for a long time. But I agree.
Urban's
Time heals
a much worse person.
Yeah, I think Florida fans would have a harder time with Urban than
I don't know that you could ever welcome Urban.
Florida State fans would with Jimbo. But yes, I think
a guy on your staff that's beating the bejesus out of his wife, who's friends with your wife. I mean, there's so much sinister.
But if Jimbo had tanked the program and then it never recovered, it would be harder to welcome. But if Florida State's back now, baby, back. They're 9.5 wins over under. They should have been in the playoff this past year.
Florida's still real.
12 guys in the combine. Yeah, they still can't get past Urban Meyer.
Yeah, that's
15 years later.
Listening to
15 years later.
Michael writes, listening to a fantasy football podcast recently, and the hosts were salivating at Trey Benson and Keon Coleman both. Hearing multiple Noles mentioned in the pre-draft hype has me very excited. Who is the third offensive player off the board for Florida State?
Johnny,
right?
I think he'll go before Jaheim.
Yeah. I think so.
Also, Roy, is it Roy Dell Williams? Is that his name? Right, the Alabama kid. He had a lot of nice. I asked him about Trey Benson, and he's like, "Man, he was a monster. Like to be that." He goes, "I couldn't believe how fast he was at that size."
Yeah, Trey's going to test incredibly well. Keon's going to be fun to watch. I'm curious to see what he looks like at the combine because we didn't see him healthy for a long time last season, since early in the year. So it'll be interesting to see. He's not, going to be a blazer, but it'll be nice to see him run full speed because he didn't play in any of these Senior Bowl type games.
Yeah.
So nobody's really seen him, and we haven't seen him healthy since early in the year.
I want to see the version that we saw against LSU where he was at his healthiest and was locked in, and you saw just how dynamic he could be because that's the player he was at Michigan State as well. Is a real difference maker who made a very average to below average quarterback at Michigan State look good at times because of his playmaking ability. You think about where he played in the Big Ten, and they were lacking talent compared against many of the teams they played, and he still made plays. So he's physically very gifted. Unfortunately, he was only gifted for Florida State for about 4 or 5 games.
I think he's also going to do well in the interview room. He's very personable. A football player,
hard worker,
smart kid. So I think he's going to do well for himself, I think, in that area.
One side note, I don't think this gentleman would mind me saying this on air. Ran into a guy who's close with him, who's known him his whole life, who's well aware of what he's doing right now, and he was talking about how much work he's put in for this and how excited he is to show people what he's like again, to remind people of how healthy, what he looks like healthy. Yeah, I think that's right. Brett Kelly writes, who gets 6 rings first, FSU or the Canes? Florida State's on the much faster track to get to 6. Miami's been sitting there stuck forever. They haven't even sniffed it. They can't win the conference. They've been bums for 20 plus years.
Yeah. So Florida State. Yeah. If you're talking about ACC championship rings,
right?
Florida State's got 14? Miami's got 0.
Okay, here we go. You're down 5 or 6 late in the fourth quarter. Need a huge punt return to possibly take the lead late and win the game. Would you rather have Peter Warwick or Deion Sanders? That's from Jason.
I'd have to.
That's a
probably
toughie.
go Deion.
I think they're both good
choices.
choices.
That's a toughie. Deion. That's close. Man, good question, but that's Greg Reed would be a good one too. Greg Reed, in fact, had some clutch. I don't know. I don't remember. That's a clutch punt return that Greg Reed had a couple
BC.
of them. Yeah.
We saved the
Maryland, and then he had another
also
one too.
Willie Reed,
or not BC, Maryland. Yeah,
Willie Reed didn't suck either.
No, T-Buck obviously, but the other thing is you got to remember none of those guys returned in this era with the Australian punters because it's completely different, man. You don't get to sit back there and catch 55-yard punts where they're
you don't catch a ball and you have 12 yards until somebody's on
right,
you.
Right.
And then, as Leon Washington pointed out, back then they didn't always put athletes on punt coverage. So it's like they're facing some of the best athletes on the other team, plus these Australian pick punters. It's just a whole different ball.
By the way, real quick, my hot take is that it's a joke that Devin Hester's in the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Yeah, man, I'm with you on that.
It's just like to me, it's the equivalent of the best pinch hitter of all time. Get it? Matt Stairs has 23 career home runs as a pinch hitter.
Used to love me some Matt Stairs,
but it's like, okay, that's it's a specialty and it's a very unique skill. But come on, man, he was never one of the top 150 football players in the league. He was just great at one thing, and he was very great. He's the best that's ever done it.
At a time when you could still be great at it.
Yeah, but it's I don't know, it's 19 touchdowns that he scored. 19 touchdowns over 11 seasons. And 14, he's best punt returner ever. 14 punt returns is insane.
Chaco McNasty, who we love.
I'd take Anquan over Devin Hester. Would you, Jeff?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
I think better career. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think so. Yeah. Chaco McNasty, I don't think we can answer this question. It's my sincere hope that the three of us cannot answer this question.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can't wait. Chaco McNasty, bring it.
It's Valentine's week, boys.
Oh boy, that's right.
See where we're going. What's the most memorable gift you've received? We can't answer this, guys. We no. If we could, it'd be a shame.
Going back to the last question, you know who's a really good pinch hitter? Rusty Staub.
Rusty Staub was great. He should be in the Hall.
Rusty Staub.
Lenny Harris was a great pinch hitter too.
One of the greatest and had a career that spanned 25 years.
It's a skill, isn't it?
Oh, you know, pinch cold like that and hit. Yeah.
Eric Hinsky was good at it for the Braves.
Rusty Staub, I got to know.
What?
Not hang out, but
Spring training?
Yeah. So Al Ang is where the Mets used to train for years, and I think I've told you guys this. It is kind of crazy. My stepdad's father died very young. He owned Johnny's Custom Cleaners. You can look it up. It's in St. Petersburg.
Look it up. Look it up now.
In the 50s and 60s. And they...
How could you look that up?
Well, I can show you. I'll show you a black one. Anyhow, he died at like 51 years old. I barely got to know him at all, right?
I thought you said very young.
Well, 51's very, very
Especially
young.
When you're older than that.
51.
I was thinking 33.
So anyhow, he owned that cleaners. Back then, baseball teams would often get their uniforms dry cleaned by the local.
How about that?
And he did the Mets. And for years, the whole family, we got free tickets for anything Mets because of it. I'd go down in the dugout as a little kid. I got to know, I got to know Dwight Gooden, Darryl Strawberry, all these guys. But before that,
did they get you any blow?
I was too young to ask, but man, another couple of years, I would have been in there. Yeah, but Lee Mazzilli and those, but Rusty Staub was frequently there.
Doc, you need a bump?
I got you, buddy. Hojo, where you at, Hojo?
Doing lines off your shoulder.
Little Lenny Dykstra, Keith Mitchell, yeah, all of it. But
all the good guys.
Yeah, that team was loaded with quality human beings. Yes, but yeah. So I don't know if Ray Knight was big on the blow, but freaking Rusty Staub would come around every spring training. I'd see his red-haired ass walking
crazy
around.
That he was a professional athlete.
And just when we first got cable, it was like we got the Braves, the Mets, and the Cubs, and the only time I watched the Mets, it seemed like every time I watched them, Rusty Staub's coming in to pinch hit.
Here comes old Rusty
Big fat,
Staub.
looks like a softball player. By the way, the answer it's got to involve lingerie of some sort, right?
I mean, we're not going to go back and answer because I just know where this goes.
I mean,
I know what we're going to say.
Chaco asked that with bad intention.
He really did.
He knows. He knows.
But you know, when you're young in love for the first time and stuff's happening and somebody wears something
Corey,
for you.
Sorry. We're not doing this.
I'm talking about me wearing it. What a gift that was.
How happy was that guy? Jason writes, will Devin Vassell make an NBA All-Star game in his career?
Man, he's getting there. Like, he plays on such a horrible team. But I think if they get better, which they will, he's going to be the second best player on that team with a superstar.
He certainly got paid.
There's a chance if they get to be good, they need a couple, obviously more than a couple pieces. He could be the second or third best player on a really good NBA team. Those guys get all-star.
Did you see Wemby had a triple-double last night with 10 blocks?
10 blocks. It's crazy. 10 blocks.
That's crazy.
Somebody, our friend Les they played the Heat recently, and Les sent me a picture of him. Even on the court, it looks like Danny Almonte playing Little League baseball. I mean, it's crazy. It's just like a
old school reference. I like it.
Pretty good.
Yeah. He was 14 playing with 12-year-olds. Right?
Yeah, brutal. And dominating that ass. Yeah. Okay, next question. Oh, somehow this got moved. Oh, hello, gents. Love the show as always. What about these players finally being allowed to make money on the up and up? Has these coaches running to go coach millionaires in the league where they have less power? But they have power in the sense that they know what their roster is going to be, Marlon. They know that if they sign a linebacker to a multi-year deal worth millions, he's going to be there tomorrow. And if he has a bad day of practice and the coach tells him that he played like ass and that he's mad at him and that if he's not careful, he's going to be sent down to the practice squad or that he's going to be benched, that guy can't decide, I'm going to Alabama because I don't like it here. And coaches like to know who their players are going to be.
Let me ask you a question. So when our guy leaves UCLA
and just to
be a coordinator, do you even meet with the team? Because how do you explain that to your team?
Yeah, it sounds like they hated him.
Like it's bad enough when Jimbo's trying to explain to FSU players why he's got to go to Texas A&M, but you're going to leave to go to be.
I wonder if he did like a group text with just emojis, like
just like
peace out, an eggplant, and then an airplane taking off.
Yeah.
You probably
I hated all of you too.
Yeah. Peace, deuces. Good luck.
That's the end.
Enjoy the Big Ten.
Let's see. What's a realistic Okay, well, we've had a few of these. Gary wanted to know a realistic expectation for the FSU baseball team this year. Let's answer it honestly. To finish above 500 for starters.
To make a regional.
Yeah, make a regional. Yeah, you can't be out here stumbling about at Dick Howser Stadium, Mike Martin Field, going below 500. Now, last year you got your pass.
Yeah.
You got your pass. Now we brought in a gazillion new players. We cannot be out here stumbling
40
around
guys
in the
on
night.
the team. Did
It's
you say
crazy.
44 guys?
It's crazy.
Like
how
26 new guys are on the team.
Yes, I've never seen a roster this size before. It used to not be allowed. But there's no way that product can continue to stay that far down. So they got to make a postseason. I mean, there's that's a fair expectation. From there, all bets are off. Who knows? Maybe they round into form at the right time. It's a truncated tournament. You get
hot.
You get hot. Next thing you know, you're in a super or whatever. Well, they don't call it that anymore, but
yeah, they do.
They call it supers.
Yeah,
they changed it.
They don't call it a sub-regional anymore.
Yeah, they should. It's a sub-regional and a super-regional.
Jeff hung on sub-regional longer than anybody.
I'm still going to hold on to it. You're not in a real regional. You're a sub-ass regional. Get through this one. This is nonsense.
Then you get to the super stuff.
Then you get to the super regional. Yeah. Now we're doing some things. I really wish they just combine them all. You get one big-ass regional, and then you're off to Omaha.
You got all 64 teams in one spot?
Not one spot. No. You just get, expand what a regional is. So instead of 8 or 4, it's like 16.
Oh, so there's 4 regionals.
The old 8-team regionals were pretty fun.
Yeah, they were. Those were fun. That's what I'm saying. That's all I would do. I think we're down to the last minute, boys, and I think we're out of questions here.
That's true.
Yeah, that's it. It's true. Yeah, we're good. Just a lot of more questions about the draft and more questions about baseball and more questions about what the other questions are about. What do we do with Leonard Hamilton? And I'm not, we don't have enough time.
We don't
They need
have time.
It'd be a good win tonight, but
they play tonight.
Is Fryer number 1 on your list of most overrated Florida State players of all time?
No. Guys,
top 5?
Guys, this is what happens.
Is he over Myron Roll?
I say I'm not convinced that Dylan Gibbons is going to be a great addition, and then all of a sudden y'all make it sound like I said he sucks and he'll never play.
Do you
hate how it goes?
Do you hate blind people or deaf people more?
That Super Bowl might have had you on
deaf
tilt.
People. It did. I mean, what are we doing? We're signing the.
I knew it.
And I keep doing it with my hands too. I keep doing it with my hands, and I've got to stop. Coda is a great movie. I don't know if everybody. Are you going to pretend not to
walk when you describe a person in a wheelchair? Is that what you're going to do next?
No, I keep doing the hands. I've got to stop.
You fall down. My legs don't work.
But I just, in all seriousness, there's never been a better time to be deaf.
You can get jobs.
You can read the stuff that's on the TV.
Being a little person. It's like being a little person. There's a lot of acting jobs for the little people now that never existed outside of Dorothy. You did
Wizard
get
of
a job.
Oz, that new Wizard of Oz movie. You see what you did,
Matthew, turn us off.
Good grief.
Put up Taylor. Give us Taylor.
We're gonna get out a little bit early.
Hey,
here.
I like Matt Fryer. Big Matt Fryer fan. I still have that Sports Illustrated with him.
You
on
should.
The cover.
He's smiling with the cheerleader.
And he's a big time player in that offense.
And I was at that game, and it was awesome. Yeah, big time. I still want a still shot of us celebrating Florida State's players celebrating in '93 with O.J. Simpson walking with the Bruno Mollies because he was there on the sideline.
He was there at Notre Dame too,
rocking those Brunos. There it is.
Yeah, I think those pictures came up when he killed his wife and her friend, the waiter. I was working in Thomasville and I pulled up the AP photo wire, and that's how I start my day. And all the pictures of him, but some of the first pictures that came up were him on the sidelines.
That poor bastard was having an affair with a beautiful woman,
or just dropping off the glasses,
dropping off some glasses, and then Psycho's there.
Wrong place.
Now you're cutting.
Yeah.
For Corey and Ira, I'm Jeff. Good job, director. We'll talk to you guys next time. Be well. Peace.